Mike Storey in the building. How are you doing,
Friday.
man? How was your New Year's? How was your Christmas? I saw you on Christmas, actually. So how was your New Year's?
Yeah, Christmas was good. New Year's was good. Had a little college football playoff game bowl party yesterday and last night, and that was fun. That was a good time. I'm not sure if anybody watches the college football playoffs, but we had two pretty trash games and then a really exciting Georgia Ole Miss game. And I've never seen a group of referees try to hand the game to one team more so than the refs were trying to hand it to Georgia last night. That was just as egregious as I've seen in a long time.
Georgia and Alabama losing in the same playoff day is essentially like the Chiefs and Eagles losing in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's celebration, amazing. Right? No one wants them to win.
Exactly.
Yeah, we like that. We like that.
I mean, outside of like Georgia and Alabama fans.
Do you get upset at people saying Happy Holidays as opposed to Merry Christmas? Is that a thing that you hate, or it's a thing? It's like a woke thing, I guess.
I don't care about that, and I actually don't think most people do care about it either way. Either that's like one of those things that politicians like to rail on about to get people their base all up in arms, but I think most people don't really care.
What is your stance on like Happy New Year? So the Curb episode where he's like putting the cutoff date of like 3 weeks on Happy New Year. Like when is it too late to say Happy New Year to somebody? Is it February? Is it 2 weeks after?
If you're more than 2 weeks out and you haven't seen somebody for the first time, so within 2 weeks and you haven't seen somebody the first time, after that, like we're well into January at that point. You need to start looking at towards the future.
All right, let's jump right into it. We have a big show tonight. I want to go through our hot takes because that's an interesting segment we do. It's one of the first segments we do to get a pulse on the guys we like and just, kind of go over the top, which, this show is not that, but we always do a hot take day. And I want to go through all of our hot takes, see how they went, which, we went pretty hot on these. So let's start from the top and we'll go one by one. I'll read them off for you, Storey, and you can kind of judge them for us.
Okay.
So first one I had was Brian Thomas Jr. finishes outside the top 20 wide receivers. As you know, I had him ranked at wide receiver 17, so it wasn't that hot based on my rankings, but based on where ADP had him ranked, he was number 8 or number 9 wide receiver. That was relatively hot. It wasn't like a habanero, but it was pretty hot. That one hit like times 2. I could have gone way lower, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty spot on. You have to make considerations for the injuries, obviously, and at some point you were kind of all in on getting back to Brian Thomas. You were saying to go out and buy Brian Thomas at one point, but it never.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Yeah, never really came to fruition. Just in general, that whole organization has. I don't want to say moved on, but he's not the tried and true wide receiver one that everybody thought he was going to be.
No, I'll say this, Storey. Even if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have not finished top 18. Just if he played every game, maybe, but like that's why it was there. Your first one was Baker, a top 3 quarterback. So I didn't do these in any. I just did them in the order we read them. That was a whiff. Injuries. He started off as such, but what do you have to say about that one?
Yeah, that takes. That takes 2025. Brock Bowers. So what? Where'd you grab that? Where'd you grab that? Because the hot takes that I have are slightly different than the hot.
No, takes. Well, you had 4,500 yards and like 40 touchdowns. I just wrote down top 3 quarterback because that's what it would have been.
Got it. Well, I mean, obviously, what can be said about it? The team is a tale of 2 halves. The first half, it looked. These are hot takes, so I wouldn't expect the top 3, but at the very least, he was a top 6 quarterback and everything that we thought he was going to be. Buka was playing well, even after the injury to Evans. But second half, and I still don't have any explanation for what exactly happened there.
No, I'll go to your second one to kind of soften the first one. Now, this one sucks as an injury, but it's Cam Scatterbo, top 15 running back. He was definitely top 10 in points per game, and he, it was a win. Where you drafted him, that was a win. This was a good take by you.
Yeah, it should be. He should have a good runway to come back next year. I mean, the injury, assuming that the bone heals properly, then there really shouldn't be anything stopping him from slotting right back into that role. The organization can't seem to make up its mind behind Scatterbo, whether they want Tracy to be a thing, whether they're happy with Singletary. So that just says to me, like, they're more than comfortable with Cam Scatterbo jumping right back in. So I'm excited for where he's going to go next year, and he'll probably drop in where he would have had he finished the season healthy.
All right, my second one. This is gross. Justin Fields, quarterback wonky. 1. Yeah, I know. It'll get better. Okay. Justin Fields, quarterback 1 overall and 4 for a passing touchdown. That's a big nothing burger right there. Hey, in a hell of a first week, you know. I'll take a big L on that one. There wasn't a lot of opportunity cost in that draft pick, but you know the reasoning why we both like Justin Fields this year. It did allow us to get our Drake May, and this ties into your third one. Drake May will have a better fantasy season than Jaden Daniels. So essentially, you were saying Drake May will be a top 3 quarterback or top 4 because that's where Jaden Daniels is getting drafted.
Yeah, well, and even without the injury, I think that one still would have come to fruition. Jaden Daniels, I don't want to call it a slump, but it was not the the leveling up that everybody had thought it might be with Jaden Daniels. So I'm going to go ahead and say that one was a win regardless, and that one actually came true. It's
a big win. That's a big win. That's a huge one. Just, you know, you were right in 2 ways. You were right on Drake May and you were right on Jaden Daniels. So that's why it was a nice pairing there. Next one for me, George Pickens will have the most touchdown receptions among wide receivers and finishes a wide receiver 1 for me. Did not have the most receiving touchdowns because Devontae Adams was a freak this year, but he was a wide receiver 5 on the year. So that's a W, brother. That's a nice one. And we put our money where our mouth was. He was
wide receiver,
wide receiver 6 in the year, man. 5 or 6, 92 catches, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns. That's a banger of a season for George Pickens.
The question is that a one-hit wonder, or can George Pickens run it back? That will yet to be seen. It depends. I mean, a lot of it depends on where he ends up going, whether he stays in Dallas or he moves on. They re-sign him, plays on the franchise tag. A lot of things up in the air with him.
The George Pickens question is motivation, right? Like, it's not talent. It never has been talent. Situation and motivation opposed to the talent. So your next one, Devin Achane, top 3 skill position player, running back, wide receiver, tight end. That's a soft miss, but he definitely beat his ADP.
I think he crushed his ADP, right? He stayed healthy the entire year. He was getting it done on the ground. It was not strictly a passing game thing. So he kind of solidified his floor even when Tua wasn't the starter there. I consider that a pretty, like obviously, so it's a hot take. So these are meant to be exaggerated, but I'd say that like the reasoning there and the status was spot on.
Yeah, the way to gauge these, if you're hot, and we go pretty hot on these, if they actually hit with what we say comes true, it's a really big hit. If you get 90, 80, or 90% of it, that means it's actually a hit because we're going way ahead of ADP, Vegas, all those kind of things. Next one for me, this is probably the best one. Chris Olave, 100-plus catches. He's out for this week's Story, but he finished the year with 100 or 101 catches, so he actually hit this. And even us, who are the highest on Chris Olave ever, did not predict that he could have a top 6 wide receiver finish. No, I didn't think that was in the cards. I thought wide receiver 1 would have been his upside, like top 12.
The biggest concern has been health and continues to be health quarterback play was the biggest concern, but he overcame that. He overcame the injury bug and things look promising. I think we both love the talent. So that's why we had him ranked so highly. Just to circle back, close the loop on Achane, he finished as a top 6 overall skill position player. So versus being drafted like in the second round, that's a pretty solid
mid-second.
Yeah. Although he is doubtful this week. I just saw that.
Your next one, another hit for you, DJ Moore, wide receiver 4 or worse, who will finish as a wide receiver 4 or worse. He's probably right around that number. He played every game, so he might have finished top 36, but that was right on par, dude. Well done. I laughed in your face when you said that.
I know, but I'm assuming with counting stats that he will end up as a wide receiver 3 just because he did play all year long. I'm not. The reasoning was sound there. I expected this to be a run for his team. I thought the offense was going to take some time to gel, and you had 2 really good skill position players behind him in Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. And Luther Burden eventually came on. It took him some time. So, yeah, he was just never consistent. It never materialized for him.
DJ Moore is definitely a wide receiver 4 in points per game, which I look at more so. Next one for me. Now, points per game wise, I hit on this one. Tucker Kraft, tight end 2 overall. You laughed in my face when I said this. You said not a chance in hell. Now, we both kind of ate our words because if it wasn't for injury Story, he would have been the tight end 2 overall. Because you know who the tight end 2 actually was this year?
Well, in points per game or overall?
Either. It's the same either way. It's Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
It's Kyle Pitts. So it would have been Tucker Kraft. Like it was in both. It would have been both Tucker Kraft. So I'm going to call that a hit because all my Tucker Kraft teams made the playoffs and had buys because I was, 5-1 when he got hurt or whatever with all those points when it was a 9th round draft pick. So I love that take. I just wish we would have seen a full season from Tucker. Next one for you, Kenneth Walker, the tiny dancer, will lose his job to Zach Charbonnet.
So I mean, the injury bug was not the concern, but I would say he's not the RB1 overall in Seattle. Like it's an RB1A or 2A, 2B. Like, this is not. It's not. I wouldn't call it a solid hit, but definitely the way that they were utilized, I kind of backdoored into this one a little bit.
Yeah, I think Charbonnet outscored him definitely in half PPR. I think he just did outscore him. So that's a win for you because Charbonnet was going a solid 5 rounds later. Next one for me. Okay, I got a couple stinkers here. Well, this one's a stinker. Isaiah Pacheco will be an RB1 in fantasy. Let's just graze past that one. Like some kind of farm animal would do on the range. That's disgusting. Next one for you. This is a big miss for you. Jackson Dart flames out and only starts 4 games.
Yep. Nope. I mean, nothing to be said about that. I was completely wrong. I thought that he was going to be one of those guys that busts early, but he has solidified himself as the future of that quarterback position.
All right, 3 more for me. 2 more for you. Chase Brown overall RB1 in PPR. Now, let me ask you this. So this was really bad, but he did finish at RB12. So he essentially returned where you drafted him. Now, if there was no Joe Burrow injury, you think there was a chance of this? Now, obviously, there was a couple monster years from Bijan and Gibbs, but he could have done it with his finish if you saw this offense where they were going. Maybe not RB1, but you saw why I did that because
I see the reasoning. The problem, like for whatever reason, they really like using Samaje Perine there. So I'm not sure that the incredible amount of work that he got at the end of the 2024 season and then that 3-4 game stretch that he got at the end of 2025 season is prescriptive for next year, especially if they keep having multiple backs on the roster that they like. As long as Zach Taylor's there, I think you're looking at a high end 2 for Chase Brown. I'm not willing to invest in his price if it's a running back 1.
Agreed. Next one for you. Darnell Mooney outscores Garrett Wilson. Interesting one here. They both, like, Mooney was hurt, that collarbone thing. We didn't know about the collarbone at the time.
Yeah.
And that was a whiff, but so was Garrett Wilson. Now, he did okay when, he was healthy. It was on the back of like 4 really good games out of 7 games, but then it was just a nothing burger. And so we'll just call this one a wash because they both suck.
I mean, no, it's a loss anyway you stack it because Mooney didn't outperform even in those like 5 games that Garrett Wilson played. He scored more points than Darnell Mooney, and at least Garrett Wilson, where you drafted him, what you got production out of him the first 4 games or whatever it was. Mooney, he had 1 game over 10 fantasy points and a half PPR, so not startable in any capacity. So that one's definitely a bust.
I'm going to finish with their last one and get to my last 2. There's a nice hit for you. CD and Pickens, both wide receiver 1s. Now that happened. I'm pretty sure CD Lamb just finished in the top 12, right?
I believe so. I think I said both top 10 wide receivers. So we'll have to find out if he finished in top 10 in PPR or half. And if he did, then we'll consider that a win. Either way, I think the reasoning was sound there.
Yeah, points per game, definitely both top 10. Last 2 for me. I'm going to start with the one that's a little better and with the stinker. Bo Nix will finish as a quarterback 2 in fantasy. That actually wasn't that hot because he was going at quarterback 7. He did finish it inside the top 12, but it was not a great fantasy season for Bo Nix. Very up and down. So last one, though, Keon Coleman, top 24 wide receiver. Just, we had a lot of hope for Keon Coleman, my dude. And it's not only that the production was bad, the play was bad. After week 1, it looked really good, but he was inactive, 4 of the last 5 games? He hasn't played for a while. Keon Coleman, what a gigantic bust this year. Is he off the team next year, Storey?
Yeah, well, because this will be his third year, right?
This was his second year.
Okay, so no, he'll be on the team next year, but he'll be gone after next year. Jeez, man, like for a team that has just a mediocre group of wide receivers that they're rotating through, that the fact that Keon Coleman was inactive 4 out of the last 5 weeks speaks volumes about him. That is just big time bust, one of the biggest busts that I can remember.
GT, Georgia's loss was tough in Indiana. Did you want Indiana to smoke the Tide like that?
Yeah, I did. I was enjoying. I mean, that game was close going into halftime, and then Indiana just completely steamrolled them in the second half.
DB, what's going on, DB? Rob and Mike, I'm on Scatterbo Neighbors this coming fantasy year with Dart at quarterback, potentially, ? So we like Scat. It's all about the price there. Let's assume, where would you project Neighbors goes? Let's say that it's all positive in terms of his rehab and all that kind of stuff. We see him in a little bit, limited OTAs. They probably wouldn't play him in the preseason. Let's say he's around the Stephon Diggs timeline that we had going into this year. Younger player. Actually, his injury was earlier than last year.
Way early. So, his injury was September, I believe. He should be fine.
Where would you think he goes? Middle of the second round?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get an injury discount on him, obviously, but the fact that you're going to get some hype around Dart and Scatterbo being back, so I think that's probably going to wash it out. I would be willing to bet in home leagues he climbs into the early second round, which I got to say I'm probably going to take the risk. Like, we don't know what he is going to be with Jackson Dart, but based on the talent and what we saw 2 years ago, I think it's worth the risk to take him there in the early second round.
And we're both in on Jackson Dart's fantasy prospects next year, correct?
Yeah, I am. I was on him. He has proven that he can be a really good NFL quarterback. Now, the guy has to learn to not take so many big hits because that is going to shorten his career and shorten his time even in the season. He's probably going to miss games based on that. But assuming that they can kind of coach some of that stuff out of him, he should be a solid wide receiver or quarterback 1 next year.
Where do you think he will be ranked? I have a number in my head. I'm curious to hear what you think.
10? I'll go 10.
I was going to say 9. I was going to say 9 because of the rushing upside.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will be scared off based on the fact that it is factual story that he was checked for a concussion in 5 out of his 10 starts. You can't make that shit up. That's
wild.
That's not a good ratio, bro. Now he only had 1. Now he only has 1 documented concussion. But did he have a concussion issue in college at all?
No, none whatsoever. No.
He didn't quite play as reckless in college, which is weird. You think he would have played more reckless?
Well, I would say he played the same, but you've got smaller, slower defensive players, and that Dart was, in general, he was unless he was playing Georgia, he was the best athlete on the field. So it kind of makes sense that when you're this good, you can overcome like the kind of, I don't want to call it like mediocre, but the defense of the NFL are the top 1% of the guys in college, right? So the 1%ers are the ones making it in the NFL. You're playing against all the other guys, scholarships and walk-ons.
Gym teachers is what I call them. Sammy Nugent must be Ted Nugent's son. What's going on, man?
Almost certainly.
What do you guys think about the Bills? So let's real quick before we get to this question, let's break down the games. The 2 games tomorrow. They're both Sunday slate story looks like dog shit. The NFL has to be furious. The fact that none of those games mean anything outside of a couple little seeding things, and obviously you have the tank bowls going on.
Yeah, I mean, you got
tomorrow's nice,
obviously, but which I'm not even excited to watch.
Sunday night's good. I'm talking about Sunday main slate and late games. Like Sunday night's good. So the games tomorrow, nice. 2 games tomorrow, and the Sunday night game, the Ravens game, good. Everything in between that sandwich it's a poo sandwich, is what it is. So first game we have Bucks and Panthers. Bucks are -3. So give me your take. Now, what sucks for the Bucks had their own destiny in their hands. Now their destiny is firmly in Atlanta's hands, because if Atlanta wins, it doesn't matter what the hell happens in this game. Carolina Panthers are going to be your NFC South champions. Now, here's the funny thing, Story. Would it not be such an NFC South move to have the Bucks actually come out, play like the Bucks that everyone's been clamoring for, and then 8-9, 8-9, and then Falcons come out and win, and you're champion from the NFC South. Again, we've had this in prior years, 8-9. The Panthers would get it.
Yeah, I mean, watch the Bucs put up 45 points on the Panthers tomorrow, and then the Falcons squeak by the Saints, and the Panthers, they've looked awful the last, well, at least last week, the last 2 weeks. I mean, they're both going to be going for it. I got to think that the sportsbooks got this one. I mean, on a neutral field, this would be a pretty even game. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if the Bucs passing game has been anemic the last 8 games, second half of the season. So, yeah, there's no question about motivation for either of these teams. They both are trying to win it. So we'll see what happens.
Who are you taking?
I'd probably take the Buccaneers at -3. That seems like a pretty good spread.
Yeah, the thing is, my concern is, and I think that this is going to come out in a week or two once the season's over and the Bucs miss the playoffs, and whether it's because I lose or whether it's because Atlanta wins, is how there's always that what comes out after the season. Baker was playing with multiple torn labrums and a fucking, right. You know what I'm saying, like a fracture in his ankle. Like, would it surprise you? Because Baker's that kind of dude. He did that with the Browns. We played with a separated shoulder that entire year. And it would just, it's the Liam Cohen loss is big too, but Baker just has not looked the same. And, we always thought he was a little overrated based on his stats last year, but the accuracy issues and the overthrowing guys and the inability to run and he's not really looking to run, which is not Baker's MO. So it has to be, I know there's an injury. It has to be worse than we think, though, I guess is my point. Yeah,
I mean, he ripped off. I'm just trying to see because I'm pretty sure he had a decent rushing game, but man, they lost to the let's see. Yeah, nope, only 16 yards. I thought he had a decent rushing game recently. No, it wouldn't surprise me at all to hear that he was dealing with some stuff that went underreported. I mean, it's the same thing probably with Ibuka. Probably never got out over that injury early in the season. And Bucky Irving does not look like the Bucky Irving, and they're not giving him the work. So is that a mental thing? Is it a physical thing? We'll have yet to find out. I kind of like, if I was the Bucs, maybe I don't want to win this, because you're not going anywhere in the playoffs. So maybe I don't want to win, and let's let these guys not get beat up in the playoffs. Let them get healthy and see what we can do for next year.
Yeah, the next game here, Seattle, San Fran, and I rewatched some of that Niners game, and CMC is dealing with a back injury, and of course he is, because the guy's handled 400 touches. Story.
Yeah.
What is your concern level there? Trent Williams might not play in this game. I don't know if you saw the reports on that one. I don't know if he's out, but that's a huge loss if he doesn't play. We have the Seattle -1.5 on the road, dude. So that's telling you a lot. It almost feels like they're begging you to bet the Niners, which I never like. Who are you taking in this game? And this is a big game. The winner of this game gets the 1 seed, gets the bye. This is back-to-back years that Sam Darnold has had, an epic season where he has a chance to solidify it, at least in the regular season, with the bye, which set your team up. And the Seahawks are for real. And the Niners are the best offense in the league right now.
Yeah, I don't know who to take in this game. I'm not gonna make a pick on this because I have no idea. The Seahawks have come out in several games, looked flat. They looked incredibly flat versus Los Angeles a couple weeks ago, and then they turn it on in the second half. Sometimes the offense shows up, sometimes it doesn't. No question about the defense whatsoever. On the flip side, 49ers defense is decimated by injuries. They've got no secondary. They're playing like trash. So Seattle should have no problem scoring. That line moved from 1.5 to 2.5 now. So it's Seattle -2.5. I'm not touching the spread or the money line with a 10-foot pole. I'm just hoping that we get a good game out of it. It'd be nice to see, I don't want another 48-45 affair. Let's get a good game with some good defense, good offense, and let's see which team kind of is going to, they get. I mean, San Fran wins and they get the road to the Super Bowl all home.
That's nice. And don't be a party pooper. Story. Gun to your head. Who you picking?
Say somebody put a gun to your head. Said, do you want your baby to be lighter or darker? What would you choose?
Why is someone holding a gun to my head and asking me what shade I would prefer my son to be?
I don't know. So
why is somebody putting a gun to her head?
He wants to find out what your preference is. So you're walking down the street with Will, and he snatches you into the backseat of the car, and now he's got a gun to your head. You want a lighter or darker baby? What shade? What shade?
Get away from me.
What color is the guy holding the gun?
He's mocha, right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
50-50. You want it lighter or darker?
I would say on the lighter side.
Seahawks or Niners? Seahawks or Niners? Gun to your head.
Niners. Gun to my
head.
All right,
I'm taking the Seahawks. Wait, that's one of those that we don't want to touch.
What jersey is the fan who has a gun to my head wearing?
Yeah, it's one of those half jerseys, home and away. Yeah. It's right down the middle. It's Mocha.
Down the middle.
Mouth, let my pick 6 this week be your guide, Mr. Story. Trust Mr. Mouth. You know who to pick. Mouth's taking the Niners. I can already tell you that because I know Mouth. By the way, shout out Mouth South, Downtown Sports. Link in the description, gentlemen. Check the show out every Tuesday. It's only one day a week. More real-life NFL talk than this show, which is fantasy gibberish and, talking about putting gun to your head with Mocha babies. But let's touch on the Ravens real quick because this is close to our heart story because our bet is somehow still alive. Our 25-1 Ravens ticket is actually they're down to 23-1 or 22-1 depending on the book story. So we're actually above market right now after all this shit. Lamar Jackson's playing, bro. So they're minus 3.5 right now on the road against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, need no DK Metcalf because of suspension. They are reeling right now. Now Aaron Rodgers, heart of a lion, Hall of Fame, all-time player. Might be his last game. So I know he's going to play a good game, but will it matter is the question I ask you.
This is last game of the season, right? Game 272. Lamar Jackson said he'll be back. Steelers win, AFC North champion. Also, if they tie, I think. I can't remember exactly. Number 4 seed. If they lose, they're out. Same thing. Number 4 seed if they win for the Ravens. If they lose, they're out. This one, what's the line on this one? It is Baltimore -4 on the road. Man, that is
going up.
Tough to trust a Ravens offense with Lamar having been banged up. Did he learn his lesson last week? And
I think
that's
so.
The new Ravens look, or it was just to get people to stop asking about Derrick Henry. I got to think that they're going to stick with Henry. They're going to be able to run on the Steelers. That defense doesn't really scare me. I don't like the 4. I think this one comes down to a field goal. So give me Tyler Loop and the Ravens to win on a walk-off field goal.
I get down on that one, and you're going to see with my bets, I'm going to put my 3 bets up here. I'm only touching both Saturday games and that game because I am not doing any props from any goddamn tank games. I don't any of the other games where it's like the Bengals, like they have more motivation because I don't want to fuck with any of that shit. So I only have 3 bets this week because last week I kind of got in the trap of betting some of these meaningless games with injuries, guys, that are banged up and they leave the game early. I'm not fucking with any of it, bro. So I have 3 bets, and you're gonna like. I'll give you a little spoiler. What do you think Lamar Jackson's rushing total is at? And I love Lamar Jackson rushing totals this year.
24.5.
25.5.
Am I good or
you're
what?
good at that. You're good at that.
Yeah.
Here's my thinking on the over. Obviously, is he's not gonna have volume rushes, right? But like I feel like with what they're doing with King Henry, all it takes is literally 1 RPO. Right, where you got the defense just selling out hard on the right side. Lamar just gets around the left edge and he's 23 yards. That's my thinking. Also, like they need this game, and I think Lamar is more likely to leave this game with an injury because it's a back injury. But here's my upside of Lamar for the playoffs and just all around is that this was an extra week. His other injuries were lower body, right? It was his hamstring, it was his ankle, it was all the injuries they listed him on for all those missed practices were all lower body injuries. That was almost a good thing that Lamar missed that game because, yes, now he has a back injury. It's a back contusion, though, so it's not like the Matt Stafford back injury, right? It's just like he has it's like ribs, essentially, where ribs aren't going to really stop you from running. It's just you don't want to be hit. So I think this could be, if they can get through this game with Lamar not getting, any re-aggravation of that contusion, as they call it, you might have the healthiest legs we've seen of Lamar since we've seen in week 3. Which is dangerous, bro.
It's possible. I'd like to see that passing game get look a little prolific heading into the playoffs, or else I have concerns about them being an early exit. So I'm going to stick with the Ravens. I know the Steelers, they've got heart. They won it. Could be Rodgers' last game. I just don't know that the talent and the coaching is enough to overcome what I think is a better football team.
We had to get the Sammy's comment. What do you think about the Bills? Josh Allen, like Baker Mayfield, has multiple injuries. I think he's going to come out after this year, and the reason Josh Allen's so good is he's still flourishing through these injuries. He's got the hand injury, wrist injury. It's a non-throwing hand, right? But still, he's got the foot injury, ankle injury. Like, would it surprise you if he was playing with 1 fracture at least?
No. You mean it wouldn't surprise me if it came out afterwards. He had like a Louis Frank fracture or something in his foot. They can move up to the 5th seed, I think, or the 6th seed. But so they got to win. So he's playing. He should be good to go despite being limited in practice. Though I don't know how, like, if the game gets away from them, I don't know how the Jets could possibly make the game get away from them. But it's
no, he's not playing this week. I think they announced he's not playing. It's Trubisky.
No, McDermott said Josh Allen is good to go. We remains.
Why are they playing Josh Allen in this game? It's like the Jets,
bro. Because he's also got that starting game streak. So maybe he comes out and plays a series. Maybe he comes out and plays a quarter. But McDermott basically said he should be good to go. But I think we've seen, like, have we ever seen it where a quarterback just comes out, takes a knee and to get the start, and then is off the field?
Or just a handoff to James Cook, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could definitely be there. Okay, I'm gonna hit you guys with the intro. We'll get to everyone's question. It looks like a pretty light night. Keep on getting your comments in. We'll answer them.
Classy.
I think I spelled it different on both. How do you actually spell Carroll? Is it 2 R's and 1 L?
O-L-L.
Oh, I don't really want to spend the time on spelling Pete Carroll's name correctly because it's.
I don't blame you.
It's a lame name. All right, so I got to do my weekly fantasy football counselor update just because this shit's getting too funny, dude. So I don't know. I don't know if you're not subscribed, but you get him on your feed. Did you see one of his recent shorts about Tom Brady's new girlfriend?
No, I don't click on his stuff because I don't want to give him the clicks.
Yeah, it just makes good content. So I'm guilty of commenting sometimes too, which is what exactly he wants. Anyway, so Braxton Berrios, his ex-girlfriend, look at this chick. This chick's dating Tom Brady now. Okay. She's 27 years old. Yeah, she's a little wonky, a little fake looking. But anyways, he was just like ripping on Tom Brady and this girl for dating each other, which is not his call to make, Storey. And he's like, why would this girl date Tom Brady? I don't know. Why would anyone date Tom? Oh, except for he's one of the most powerful men in the country. He's a fucking badass athlete that's super handsome. Anyways, and he's like, why would Tom Brady date her? She's a 2. He called this chick a 2, bro. A 2. Storey.
Okay.
A 2. I don't care if she looks fake. A 2?
I could think of 300 million reasons why she would date him.
There you go. But the thing that pissed me off was the 2. Like, dude, here's the thing is I guarantee the counselor's wife is not this hot. So like when you have someone that probably has a porker for a wife to come out here and call like a supermodel essentially a 2. Now I know it's an opinion, bad opinion, and shut up, counselor. Can we shut up? Can he shut up, please?
That's a weird one. I didn't know
she's
he
like
did
an 8 at worst, dude. 8 at worst.
I didn't know he did lifestyle content in addition to fantasy football content. I mean, his takes about like Puka's not a dog. Because he
there's a lot of things, dude.
Weird enough, but this is now he's doing content talking about dudes' girlfriends. Like that is bizarre.
And it's wrong content because that girl's hot. Like, I'm just saying, she's not for me personally, a little fake, but like, okay, yeah. So you wouldn't bang her, counselor? You fucking, oh God. Anyways, he also calls everyone by the wrong name. By Jan, he calls A-Chain a chain.
Jay Quellen. No Jay Quellen here?
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Balake. Where is Balake at? Yes, sir.
My name's Blake.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you want to go to war, Balake?
No.
D-Nice. Is there a D-Nice?
Do you mean Denise?
Son of a bitch. Aaron. Where are you? Where is Aaron right now?
Here.
You know, I said it like 4 times, so why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
Son of a bitch!
He can't feel so good.
Oh
man.
That is that's the counselor trying to pronounce names that are factual names. People know how to pronounce their names. He doesn't. And Aaron. My favorite one there is Balake. Dude, Blake Balake. That's Bijan Bijan, right?
Timothy. You've seen
Timothy, yeah.
The East-West Bowl when at the end.
Yeah. All the names.
And then the white guy from BYU, Dan Smith, BYU.
Yeah, I love the white guy there. Mouth, gotta love when people give numbers whose hand gets dry and ashy when it's time to go under the covers. I don't know what that one means.
I don't know either. Give numbers when whose hands get dry and ashy. I don't know what that means.
Is this a counselor take? Maybe it's a counselor take. Clarify if you could, Mouth. If you could. Let's get to this comment real quick, and I got to get to my bets. Justin, I have a Super Bowl where our league winner plays against another league winner. PPR, 4 points for passing touchdown. Who would you start? James Cook and Michael Mayer or McBride and Bucky? I am worried about Cook sitting at half. Oh, well, Bucky's awful, though.
Yeah, I don't know that you could play Bucky even. Well, and he's in a 3-way timeshare, and he doesn't get goal line work right now. That's a cool format, though. Plays against another league winner. Why would you need to choose one of these pairs, Cook and Mayers? Why couldn't you go Cook and McBride?
I'm guessing it's just one of those. I don't know. I'm just going off what he said. So
yeah, no, it's just weird that
if I had to choose between those two, it's McBride and Bucky, right? Just because I know Bucky's gonna be on the field.
Yeah, I think
McBride's so much better than Mayer.
Mayer is a good streaming option, as we saw last week, but we don't know what Cook's workload is going to be, how much Ty Johnson's going to be involved. Are they going to give Ray Davis some work? I just don't trust McDermott at all. So yeah, Bucky's going to be on the field at least between the 20s, and McBride is just an absolute monster. If you have to pick those two, then I guess that's the way to go.
The McBride and Bucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Let's get to this question. I'll get to the ones up top here in a second. What is your thoughts on Bucky looking forward to next season? I won my league for the first time this year. Congratulations, Brennan. So it depends on if they keep everyone there. So if they're going to keep Sean Tucker and they're going to keep Rashad White, why would anything change? They love Sean Tucker this year. They didn't like him last year. They love him this year in the goal line. And Rashad White is their third down back. That's not going to change. So Bucky's value is, what he has right now with goal line work. But if you take the goal line work, you're literally getting a between the 20s banger that, is not the talent we were sold. Now he didn't. And here you heard my theory story. It was the Liam Cohen thing. Liam Cohen opened up so much for the run game and the screen game. And it was Bucky Irving in open space all year last year. And, a lot of running backs are going to look really, really elite when they're just one-on-one against a safety. Like, they will make a guy miss. And Bucky made a lot of people miss last year, and he's not making anyone miss this year.
Yeah, so I was just looking it up. Sean Tucker's a restricted free agent because he signed a 3-year deal as an undrafted free agent in 2023. So depending on what the tender they put on him, he could get swooped by another team, or it could be a high enough tender that nobody's willing to touch that, in which case they could re-sign him, or they could match whatever somebody else puts on him. So I don't know. This one is going to depend entirely on what happens with Sean Tucker. And then Rashad White is 2 years ahead, right? I don't know.
This would be Rashad White's fourth season, I think. So he would be in his fourth year option if he wasn't the first round.
He's an undrafted free agent next year. So I don't think he would come back then. They're not going to be able to re-sign him, which means that there should be more opportunity for Bucky Irving. We'll see what comes out, if there's anything lingering from the injury, but he can't be drafted as highly as he was this year, but he won't be used as incrementally as he has been the second half of this year.
Miles says their own hand gets dry when it's time to bait. Yes, it's a counselor take. So that's what it is. Nice. It's a counselorism, right? It's just a bad take. And that's what he gives. Let's get a couple more questions. I'll get to my bets. Malta Ravens had them winning the division. Got to stick with them. And they look a lot better. No DK, no division. What a shame for DK, because I feel like if he didn't get suspended, they would have not lost that game to the Browns.
Possible. Yeah. I mean, anything can happen in the NFL. It didn't look like the Steelers really wanted to win that game until the last drive there. And also, they were targeting – who was the name of the guy I don't even remember who they were targeting. Some dude, some no-name guy they were targeting the last 3 plays.
They had Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They had Calvin Austin missed the game, I think. So it was just a shit show of guys. Not to mention they just lost Darnell Washington, which is a big loss for them, man. That guy's such a good blocker, and you got to account for him in the pass game too, because he is going to break 3 tackles if he gets a catch.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a monster of a man, and he is an integral part of that scheme that Arthur Smith loves to run, multi-tight end set. Where the hell's that game? There it is. Let's see, plays, and who is he targeting? Yeah. Oh, yeah, MVS. So it was the last 3 plays were incomplete pass intended for Marcus Valdes-Scantling, incomplete pass for MVS, incomplete pass for MVS. Like, come on.
MVS, bro. Where's Jonnu Smith? Why did they trade for Jonnu Smith if they're not going to use him? What is that?
I don't know. I mean, Freiermuth was heavily targeted on that last drive. Scotty Miller was part of this. Yeah, just an absolute. So this is just kind of reinforcing.
Scotty Miller, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and Calvin Austin are the guys they're rolling with this week.
Yeah, I mean, outside of
Freiermuth, really bad.
3 yards. Scotty Miller was the leading receiver in that game with 25 yards. Then MVS, then Jonnu Smith. MVS had 9 targets. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Miles says also Raiders over Kansas City. Lock that shit in. Now both teams want to lose this game because I think it's more important for the Raiders because they'll be locking in the 2nd pick, I believe. But the Chiefs could actually have like the 7th pick in this draft.
Excuse me. Yeah.
We have not seen them get close to anything like that since before Andy Reid was there. So I think this is important for both teams. And Pete Carroll's an idiot, though. So would it surprise you if they actually won this game and Mouse locking it in?
Well, I mean, there's several scenarios where the Raiders could still get the number 1 pick, even if they win. It's dicier, but they could do it. Andy Reid has said all the starters are going to play. Now, what that means, because it's Chris Oladokun, who knows? It's Pete Carroll, though. He's been really evasive when he hasn't said that the starters won't play, but like we obviously saw what happened with Max Crosby, no Brock Bowers. The Raiders are giving the outward appearance of being ready to close up shop on the year. So I wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot ball.
And he's not announcing the starting quarterback. So Mouse says both Pickett and Aiden O'Connell are better than Oladokun. I don't think Pickett is. I think Aiden O'Connell is. I don't know if Pickett's better than this guy. Pickett looks awful. And also no weapons, right? No weapons.
No weapons. Like I said, I'm not touching that game whatsoever. Is that an afternoon game? Yeah, 3:30 game. Jeez, man. Like these games, you're absolutely. I mean,
so bad.
So bad. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to watch football on Sunday, dude. Besides tonight, I don't think I'm going to. I need to break.
Clean my garage on Sunday.
Dude, I'll do anything. I'll do anything.
This is just disgusting games. Like the Broncos.
So it might be Bills versus Pats round 1. That's a game. Who are you taking if that's the case?
The Pats. I know that they haven't played him. I'll tell you what. I'm kind of upset. Not upset, but dude, I think Matthew Stafford should still be in the running for MVP. I can't believe he basically lost it because of one bad game and the loss to Seattle when he's got I think I saw the stat that he has 25 passing touchdowns against teams with records above 500, and Drake May has 0 because their schedule's been so soft. And Drake May is going to get the MVP because they went absolutely bananas on one game against a pretty inferior opponent.
You can go the other way about Drake May, though, as well, and say Matt Stafford's been throwing to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, and Drake May has been throwing to Stephon Diggs, who's essentially a part-time player because they've been managing his reps all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. So you can go other way too and say, well, the talent's better the coordinator, obviously Sean McVay. I know you don't like the man, top 3 coordinator in the NFL. Mike Vrabel is a good coach. McDaniel's a fine coordinator, but he's not Sean McVay.
I get that argument. I guess I would just say, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of skill to throw 45 touchdowns or whatever it is. So
you give it to Stafford right now.
I think it should be closer. I would like to see how the last game unfolds, but I don't think it should have gone from Stafford minus 250 to May minus 400 because of one bad game from Stafford.
Correct.
And a 1-5 touchdown game. So I think it should be, both should be around even money right now.
Why don't they give him co-MVPs? That's fair.
Have they ever done that? I don't think they've ever done that.
No, that game. I think Peyton Manning and someone else had a co-MVP. They have done it. So there's precedent.
I don't know. It's like the problem is it's a recency thing. Like this is what the voters are going to remember. So that's why they have the odds where they do.
Scott White, I'm in 2 leagues that play week 18. Not sure why it's such a big deal. You just need to account for the guys that start for that and start the guys that have something to play for. Yeah, I mean, we understand that point, Scott. The problem is the best team doesn't win now because you have to start guys like Adonai Mitchell and guys like Michael Mayer and you can't start your quarterback, for instance. Like week 17 is getting to that point already. We were talking about that story. Week 18, dude. At that point, I get that it's everyone has the same chance to win. You could pick up the guys that are playing, but like, why are we talking about having to pick up waiver wire trash or plan for, all these guys resting when it should just be the best team should have the best chance to win? And that's not really the case in week 18.
Well, and we're trying, like, this game has enough luck in it already. We're trying to mitigate the amount of luck and allow for those managers who have more skill to shine through. And in week 18, we've already talked about several scenarios where we don't even know, like, the dudes that are starting, are they starting strictly for show? And they're going to play one series. So you can't account for injury, for the most part, obviously, but you can at least account weeks 1 through 16, 17-ish, the motivation for these teams and these players. Now, week 18, it's not just like guys being out. It's guys with something to put on their resume, meaning they started every single game this year, but maybe I don't need to play the entire game. So now, like, if you start James Cook and they're like, all right, well, this game's we're keeping him. We're going to pull him out after the first quarter. Now it's just like he got injured. So now you're taking a bigger risk. I don't. That's why I don't like week 18.
J-Bob, Birds by 20, even with the backups. Now, Tanner McKee. What are your thoughts on Tanner McKee? Because he's good.
He's played well in spot starts. So I'm fed up with the Eagles as an organization. So I hope that the Eagles get their world rocked. So at least they go into the playoffs realizing, like, you can't just run the ball out in the second half when you got a 7-point lead.
Go Birds, though.
Go Birds, though. Oh, go Birds. All right, fine. Go Birds. Right? I know go Birds. Get your hand off my knee.
Go Birds.
Is there what do you think the chances are that if they lose in the first round, similar to 2023, remember where they limped in the playoffs, kind of similar to this year. Now, they won some games on the stretch, but it has not looked good. And Jalen Hurts puts up a stinker that they say if they can get 2 firsts for Jalen Hurts from the Raiders, for instance, that they roll with Tanner McKee. Because Tanner McKee has looked really good. Now, it's a ballsy move. But what do you think the chances are that they cut bait on Jalen Hurts? Is it 0?
0. Yeah, that franchise quarterbacks are impossible to replace. We don't see, like, even when McNabb got traded, that was at the end of his career. Like, it just doesn't happen where a franchise quarterback gets to traded or walk anymore. The teams aren't going to let it. I mean, you look at team, like, there's 20 starting quarterbacks realistically. The other 12 are basically backups. So a team's not going to let and they know this. So a team's not going to let a guy go and try to run with Tanner McKee or replace him through the draft. It's just, you hit a diamond in the rough. You won the lottery with Hurts in the second round. Now you got to build a team around him. And I think it starts by firing Pachulo, but we've been talking about that for.
I think you want to scratch off. You want a scratcher, not the lottery. Come on.
Fair enough.
Josh Allen is winning the lottery. J-Bob, sorry. That's funny. What are your thoughts on Tanner McKee, though? I want to hear your thoughts on Tanner McKee. Mr. Free Throw, weekly redraft, Kittle or Drake London this week? Can you play Drake London after the performance we saw? Now, they didn't have to throw much. He didn't look all that bad, but, like, it's the Bijan show there, and the Kittle has the injury concern. But this is a must-win game where, like, Atlanta's, like, Raheem Morris has that team playing. Very motivated story. He's playing for his job. They all love Raheem Morris, and they're probably going to keep Raheem Morris if they win this fucking game.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, we're week 18, and, like, so I think I would go Kittle. And I think picking up Tonjes as a backup in case Kittle doesn't play, because we're in week 18. We're seeing guys with illness. Now, how often does an illness keep somebody out? And Chris Olave just got ruled out for a game on Sunday. He got ruled out today or yesterday, like because of illness. So you're telling me like an illness is going to keep Olave out of this game because it's week 18? You're saying that if London gets a little dinged up, they're not going to just shut him down for the game? I don't think I could take the risk in the championship week. I would go with Kittle, and because they obviously have something to play for. And then if Kittle doesn't play, you got Tonjes. We saw he's a very serviceable fill in there.
Mouth, I think this is regarding the my Hurts trade rumor. They did it twice. They aren't doing it again. So he's talking about how they got rid of Wentz, and then they got rid of Foles. They got rid of McNabb, right? Is that?
Yeah, they got rid of McNabb.
Yeah, so the Eagles are ditching franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah,
McNabb for Vic, Wentz for Hurts.
I mean, they got rid of McNabb, like I said, for like a 3rd round pick, and they got him. They sent him to the Redskins at the time.
Yeah, Justin says CMC MVP, 2 quarterbacks, and he worked every game. But here's the problem: is it's the reverse of what you said, though, Justin. Is that the last running back to win MVP, I believe, was Adrian Peterson in 2009. So we're looking at, I know 2009 doesn't seem like that long ago. We're in 2026. That is 16 years ago, dude. Like, and that was an all-time epic. That was a 2,000-yard rushing season. Like, that was coming off the injury. Do you think there's any chance that CMC, he's going to get some votes, but do you think there's any chance he wins?
The MVP?
No.
No. I don't think so. I can give you the current odds, but I don't think there's any way that he wins the MVP. He'll probably, like you said, he'll probably get like 2 or 3 votes, and a bunch of second place votes, but there's no chance that CMC would have had to have like, you know, an Adrian Peterson like performance while nobody stood out at the quarterback position, and it just didn't happen this year.
It's been damn impressive, and
I mean, yeah,
we were talking about this
10,000.
Would you draft McCaffrey at 3 overall next year?
Yeah, why not? He proved me wrong this year. He could probably stay healthy again next year. 3 overall seems about right for a guy that's on the field 90% of the time.
There's no way they could keep that up, though. I know we said that this year, but
that's what we said earlier in the year, and that's what we continue to say. And look where we are now.
Mouth, good call about Liam Cohen, dude. He is a running back whisperer, honestly. I mean, ETN is balling out this year. So Mouth says it was MVS, 9 targets that game, 2 catches, 30 yards. That's a Marquez Valdez-Scantling game. Jesus. So Mouth says Genty will strut like a gazelle.
Wizard.
Let's see where we're at. I'm going to get to my bets here in a second. What's been going on with Jalen Hurts? I've been out of the loop. He is just not playing very well. You agree with that? I mean, what's going on with
it's not even that he hasn't been playing very well. That's part of it, but the fact that the offense is like they have no interest in trying to win the game on the backs of Jalen Hurts. It's uncreative, and this is another thing that we've talked about all year long. Kevin Petula does not know how to scheme up an offense. It's very uncreative. Like, they're not using Saquon Barkley properly at all. They're not getting guys in space. They're not drawing up even like basic mesh concepts that would allow guys to get open. So they're having to rely on the athleticism and the talent of AJ Brown, and then occasionally he'll take a deep shot that's no longer accurate to Devonta Smith. I put this squarely at the head coach. Like, this is a Sirianni problem, and the fact that he was comfortable and happy with the way the team performed enough to be cocky about it after the game when they gained 17 yards of offense in the second half tells you everything you need to know about that man and that organization. Unless they become serious about actually winning games, I don't believe the Eagles are going very far in the playoffs.
Huh? Tell us how you really feel, Storey. I think it's an equal opportunity blame game. I can go on everyone. I'm not just going to blame the offensive coordinator or the head coach.
Hey, you ever accidentally masturbate to young pictures of your mom?
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
This is a random clip. Okay, I'm going to go and show you my bets and get Storey's take on my bets because we need to win. We're coming off a pretty bad week. Before I get to that, we do have one spot left in our fantasy postseason, our fantasy playoffs that we're doing here over on the Discord. So if you're interested, hit me up in the Discord. Also, shout out to Zach. That is MVP. Newest professional fanatic tier member there on the Patreon. You're the man. He's gonna be in the Dynasty League with us. Also, you get a lot more than just supporting us, which is a big perk in itself. Access to the Discord, community fantasy leagues, guest appearances on the pod, have at least one guest, a fan on about every 2 weeks, and free merchandise. So I'm getting shirts. We got these hats right here. Going to do the random draw for January here in a couple days. So if you get in the next couple days, you are eligible to win this hat. I will send it directly to your house free of charge. Storey, here is Helen Hunt. What do you think about her? You like her?
She's like I said, I've said many times, I'm sure she's a very, very lovely, nice lady, but Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah. Also, you do get access. If you get in the Discord, you get access to my bets, my early release bets. You get the odds as I place them. Rough week last week, 2-5. Set us back a bit. We're still 84-50. That's 60. It's 63%, which is still doing some work. And I have 3 plays for you guys this week. I'm going to release them on this show. They've been out for 3 days now, so the lines have changed. Storey, anxious to hear what you think. I didn't put the third one in here, but we'll talk about that one. The third one is Lamar Jackson over 25.5 rushing yards. First one, Tommy Tremble over 15.5 receiving yards. Second one, Sam Darnold over 4.5 rushing yards. Those are both minus 110. So Jatavion Sanders is ruled out. He's out for the year. Tommy Tremble should be an 85% snap share player. Not really a matchup thing. It's just I always like Tommy Tremble. I think 15.5 is a really low number. And then Sam Darnold, 4.5 rushing yards is just free money. This, by the way, Storey, this opened at 10.5. I don't know why they opened at 10.5. And it got. And I've been betting Sam Darnold's rushing lines. I think I'm 3 out of 4 this year on them. They're always at 3.5. I don't know why they opened it at 10.5. And I saw that. I'm like, okay, I can't bet that now. Now it's down to 4.5. So all the money's on the under apparently, and I saw 4.5. Give me that all day.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of wild. Man, I don't know. What's Tommy Tremble been doing recently? He had a fairly decent game last week, right?
Not really. Because Jatavion got injured in like the second quarter, but he played like 60% of the snaps. So he would have, if you do that projection the second half, he's going to play almost every snap. I mean, 15.5 is nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's not a lot. And they obviously, I don't know. I am not like the player prop guy. I couldn't tell you like, I know where the books will set their numbers, but I couldn't tell you over under. I'm bad at that. So
what do you think about the Sam Darnold one though? 4.5.
I don't know. I don't know what he does for like a running. Like,
not much. He averages about 5 a game. He has games where he has 23 yards. And he has like 2 games in a row with 0. So it's just if he's willing to run, right? If it opens up for him, what kind of game it's going to be. I expect this game to be a back and forth, rather high scoring game, where they're not just going to be able to hand the ball off. He's not going to. He's going to have time in the pocket. But it's going to be one of those games where he's, think about it. He's got a little gunshot. He can't throw interception. So instead of throwing the pick, Storey, if you're Sam Darnold, why not just pull the ball down and run?
I don't know.
First down.
I mean, good luck. I don't know how you could bet on week 18 player props. Like, I just don't.
I'm betting on week 18 because these games matter. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
That's
and
fair.
also the third one, Lamar Jackson, 25.5 rushing yards. What do you, that's an interesting one you could probably comment on. What do you think about that?
So I would, I just, back contusion. I wonder if he's going to be worried about getting hit, if he's going to slide, go out of bounds. I get worried about that. 25.5 for a rushing quarterback is nothing, but for a guy who hasn't been running in the second half of the season and is dinged up, I'm a little worried about that one.
So why I've been about Darnold's rushing props all year was because last year with Minnesota, he averaged like 18, or maybe it wasn't 18. It was pretty high. It was like 15 or 17 a game rushing. He had something like, 280 yards rushing on the year. And then this year, he just hasn't been running like the first 6 weeks because you know how smooth that offense was running through he had no reason to run. It was just JSN wide open down the field. Yeah. So like the books just never, I think he started the year around 8.5, 10.5 on those numbers, and they just hit the unders and a lot. So they adjusted way down. And I feel like a lot of people just aren't touching it because they look at the numbers, and it's been pretty fruitful for me. I think I'm 3-1 on Sam Darnold's overs this year. So
okay.
Like
I said,
it's just a low number.
I don't like betting on week 18, period. It's just too many.
Me neither. That's why those are only my 3 bets. Usually I do about 9 or 10, and I'm only betting on games at least that matter. So at least I know the players are going to be playing and have motivation and all that noise.
I will say
I'm not going to fuck with that.
Let me ask you a question. Like, what is your thought on, because you'll see thread bros on Twitter or X talking about like the player prop, like the incentives, like, oh, this guy needs 7 more catches. This guy needs another 100. Like, do you like? And they're saying like you can take advantage of that player props. I think that's all obviously the sports books know the same stuff that we know, right? None of this information's hidden. So it's wild to me that you would think that you would get the edge on the sports book there. I would say be extremely careful with that for week 18. Just these incentives that teams give players.
The only upside I would say about that would be if you have a guy that's kind of questionable to come into the game, going into the game, and like he's less likely to want to leave that game with injury because he knows he has 500K on the line. That would be the only thing, right? Because it's like, yeah, the coaches want to get their players money, but I feel like we've seen teams try to remember the game where, and I bet on this one specifically, where they tried to force AJ Brown the ball a million times, and his over was like 62 yards. He had like 12 or 14 targets for like 50 yards. That's AJ Brown, who's an all-time talent. So it's like,
yeah,
you can try to get a guy a ball all you want, but like, is that going to necessarily equate to production? It's going to help, but it's not going to guarantee it.
Right. I mean, I will say, like, I will remember that they did that with Mike Evans. Was it last year or the year before where they were?
That was the 1,000 yards, where they didn't need to throw the ball. They threw him a screen pass and almost risked missing the playoffs for that.
So I would say, like, when it comes to a historic milestone, that probably is something you can look at. But like when it comes to incentives, a lot of times the teams will just pay the player anyway if they get close. So I would just caution people because you'll see it all over Twitter this week leading up to the games.
Scott says, what about Pitts? Current status is questionable. I haven't heard any news about Pitts, but he has no reason to play in this game except for they're trying to fight for Raheem Morris's job. And I feel like that locker room loves him. I don't know why. He seems like a nice enough guy, but he's a terrible coach. Coach.
He's a pretty bad coach. So yeah.
Mr. Free Throw, McCaffrey, way too many touches this season. No way he makes it through the next season healthy. He won't be a top 5 running back, maybe not even top 10. Now, I went over this last night's story. I did a solo stream. I was talking about, the reason that all the experts faded Saquon Barkley. And they got it right. So they got the Saquon fade correct. But they got it right for the wrong reason. Because everyone just said that, look at the history of these guys that handle over 400 touches. They always get hurt and break down. Now, Saquon hasn't looked amazing this year, Story. But it wasn't that he broke down. It was the offense is broken and he just wasn't as effective. He played every game. So like they were right for the wrong reasons. And here's the thing about McCaffrey. If McCaffrey plays every game, he is a fantasy cheat code unlike Saquon Barkley because Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley is a better player. I feel like last year was a better, he's just a more dynamic player. He's a better running back. Christian McCaffrey is a fantasy cheat code that gets fucking 6 receptions a game and gets all the goal line work, right? And they don't have Jalen Hurts taking tush pushes. Like that's what McCaffrey's healthy. He produces no matter what. The worry with McCaffrey is the health.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. That he's a cheat code. He is the. Did he end up as the RB1 or the overall RB1, or was that Bijan because of his massive game?
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, CMC got RB1.
Even with Bijan's monster game?
Yeah, Bijan only has like 11 touchdowns this year.
Okay.
CMC probably has 16, 17. Well, that's low for him with how and they're all from like 40 yards out, dude. Like
I know.
There's barely any goal line.
Yeah. So, but both of them were dwarfed by Puka Nacua, right? Like Puka's the number 1 overall skill position player this year.
In PPR, I would say so. Yeah, and he missed a game too. So
I forgot about that. Anyway, yeah. I mean, maybe CMC found, and I don't want to say like black magic, but like some kind of treatment plan that allowed him to play. So until he proves otherwise, like I gotta jump back in.
Sorry, it's not the treatment plan. It's the voodoo doll I talked about week 1. That's come to fruition. Everyone's died in the team, and he's healthy. Jimbo says the Eagles won their ship. They're not as hungry. Do you believe in that, or do you think it's a coaching issue and a Jalen Hurts issue?
I think it's a coaching issue, and I think it's a play calling issue, and I think it's a leadership issue. And what does that tell you? I pinned the Eagles' struggles squarely on the Eagles organization, particularly Nick Sirianni and Jeff Lurie.
Dakota said, "Bro, that clip mid sentence was wild." I like to play clips mid-sentence Story. It's like what I do around here. So do you like it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Hey, you ever accidentally masturbate to young pictures of your mom?
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Is that a sports memes, or was that an actual clip from the show?
It's an actual Family Guy clip.
Why?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just like it. Mr. Free Throw, that pick of Helen Hunt looks like Cher in the movie The Mask. Have you seen The Mask, by the way? It's a pretty epic movie.
Yeah, that's
it's got a rock star in it, right? Who is it? Who is it?
That I don't remember. But the actor who played what's his name? Adrian, the bad guy in that, he just died. He just passed away.
No shit. It's this one. Yeah. This is the one that looks like Cher, he says. It kind of does, dude. It kind of does look like Cher in The Mask. Good call, bro.
That guy was what's his name? Jed or Jeb in Pulp Fiction.
Jeb, one of the pawn shop gangbangers, or gang bang guys.
Yeah,
double team. I guess it wasn't a gangbang. Gangbang. How many does it require for a gangbang story? What's the actual number?
2.
No. That's a threesome. That's a threesome.
4.
No, I think it needs to be
Zed.
4 guys and 1 girl.
Zed. Peter Green. He passed away.
Zed. Oh yeah, Zed. Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah, he just passed away, unfortunately. So he was Dorian in the Adrian Dorian in The Mask.
Yeah. And who is the other guy? The other guy, who is the other guy in that too? There's another. He's pretty famous.
In The Mask, the cop.
No, the other guy in the pawn shop.
Oh,
the guy that comes, the cop. So Zed is
he's like
the owner, right?
He's like a character actor.
Oh, he is. He just died. He's the one that just died. He's the one that's in. No, you're thinking. Yeah, you're right. You're thinking of The Mask.
Peter Green.
He was talking about Mask.
Yeah,
the movie Mask with Cher, not The Mask.
Oh, I don't know what Mask is.
Mask is when Cher's son has that deformed face.
I never saw that. I thought we were talking about The Mask with Jim Carrey.
No, and that's the guy you're talking about, right? Yeah, he's the bad guy in that.
Isn't that named The Mask?
Yeah, that's The Mask. The Cher movie is called Mask, and her son has like a facial deformity. There's a really great Family Guy clip about that. But Mouse says TJ Watt is back. Don't do it. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, TJ Watt is back this week for Pittsburgh. Don't bet that Lamar over. I don't like that. Wait for it to drop a bit. 22 feels better. Well, Mouth, just so you know, it's up to 28.5 now, as all my props always go up. So I wouldn't, 28.5, I probably wouldn't touch, but 25.5. I knew it was never going to go down. It's Lamar Jackson. And like I said, I feel like his legs are healthy. His back may not be, but that's not going to affect his wheels.
Probably. We'll see.
So with DK Metcalf out for the Steelers, this Marquez Valdez-Scantling guy kind of came out of nowhere. What's up with that? I mean, he came out of nowhere for shit numbers, and he played a lot of snaps. That's Marquez Valdez-Scantling, man. He's had a couple good years. Like he has a 900 receiving yard year, right?
Yeah, he was on the Chiefs for a number of years. He actually had some decent production, a game here and there. He never amounted to what we had hoped he could have been based on his college profile, but like it's not like that name was completely foreign to us. It's not like Ryan Flanoy showed up in like week 4 early this year, and everybody was like, "Who the hell is that guy?" We know who MVS is.
He's I always refer to Marquez Valdez-Scantling when I refer to receivers like Brian Thomas's role this year, how they've pretty much made him a sacrificial X receiver. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is the definition of a sacrificial X receiver, where they're like, "Hey, Marquez, go line up at X and run fucking 34 go routes, and you're going to get 4 targets, right? And maybe get a pass interference, maybe catch a touchdown, but you're not going to get anything over the middle. You're not going to get anything designed for you. You're literally going to be, a guy just chewing up space on the field." And that's Marquez Valdez-Scantling forever, because he can't catch either. His hands are god-awful. God-awful. Let's see. CMC is going to be top 4. CMC is going to be top. He might be the number 1 overall pick next year. I'm telling you, I'm not drafting CMC next year inside the top 5. Just like, no way. I'm not taking him over Bijan. I would not do that. If David Montgomery leaves, which he probably will, are you going to take him over Gibbs?
Yeah. CMC has not disappeared in a game, and Gibbs has disappeared. I mean, even with Montgomery not playing the usual role, if that offense isn't firing on all cylinders, Gibbs' role or Gibbs' production can be muted. Like now, he can overcome that, but he's not a guarantee to overcome that, unlike CMC, who's a guarantee to overcome even bad games from the 49ers offense.
But we've seen without, I know you say we've seen Montgomery's role shrink this year, but we saw last year during the fantasy playoffs there was no Montgomery. Remember Jahmyr Gibbs averaged like 34 he did what Bijan did this year. So like that's the dude, I want Jahmyr Gibbs over. I think I want Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan next year if there's no David Montgomery, dude. Just because I trust the Lions offense more than I trust Atlanta's. Bijan's a better player.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Ben Johnson was a integral part of that offense, looking as potent as they have in years past. I mean, Gibbs closed out the year with 4 points and 7 points. 10 points, -1, 3. No, I'm looking at the Lions defense. Never mind. Hang on. He closed out the year with 5 points, 17, 7, 33, 10, 49. You want that kind of volatility on your roster? I don't know that
it's not volatility without David Montgomery, and the offense just got broke this year, and the offensive line fell apart. That's the problem. The offensive line fell apart. It's not. Well, they're going to address it.
I trust Shanahan more than I trust Dan Campbell.
Who do you trust to stay healthy, Gibbs or CMC?
Well, I'm not gonna go on like obviously Gibbs, but I'm not gonna go on that because CMC showed us all wrong. Until he proves differently, I'm gonna have to assume health for him.
God, Storey, you're disappointing me because you're going extreme recency bias here from 1 year. What about last year? What about 3 years ago? Like CMC has missed multiple seasons, and Jahmyr Gibbs has never really missed more than a game. Now, I'm not saying Jahmyr Gibbs is like foolproof. Like he does comp as a guy that would get and will get nicked up with a big workload. He's not a big guy. He's about the same size as CMC. He just hasn't had the workload. CMC has had a Joe Mixon level workload. It's been insane throughout his career.
And again, like for these elite athletes, it really doesn't seem to matter. It's not like this is a 2,000-yard rushing season where you can almost guarantee production is going to dip. Like CMC overall output is as guaranteed as any player in the entire league, strictly due to his pass game work and the fact that he only comes off the field for short stints when they run Brian Robinson. So, yeah,
I give you that one, man. But how has Saquon Barkley looked this year?
Pretty bad. But, again, that's Eagles, man. I'm not –
No. I'm saying athletically. Saquon Barkley definitely took a step back this year, my dude. And you can say he came in fat.
It's really tough for me to evaluate that because of how poor the offensive concepts are that are coming out of Philadelphia. Like, the few games where Saquon Barkley has managed, like the offensive line is playing atrociously bad. There's no holes whatsoever. The few games where he's managed to squeak through some holes, he looks just like old Saquon Barkley. So I don't believe that he took a step back athletically.
I think he has, and I think the numbers say he has. And the thing is, Saquon Barkley.
Numbers, it's tough to argue the numbers, but from the eye test, on those few times when the offensive line actually does its job and opens up a hole, Barkley looks like the old Barkley. He's still young. I don't think it is a athleticism thing.
Fair enough. Devious says, how do you think the Seahawks at 49ers game will go? Obviously, you know what I think. He's a Niners fan. I think what happened, but I'd like to know your opinion. So we talked about this earlier. You had to gun to your head. You couldn't make a pick. You said Niners. I said Seahawks.
Yep. Again, I think I just trust Shanahan to get the job done over McDonald, who is, a halfway decent coach.
I do as well. My big two concerns here is CMC with that back injury, and it's just a matter of time. And like he is nicked, he has to be nicked up, bro. I know he's not been showing it on the field. He did show it towards the end of that game, and then George Kittle pushing through because this is a big game for them. Like getting the extra week of rest is worth it for him coming back early because then he will be healthy. But he's not going to be 100%. And the defense is the biggest thing. Like. Now, Sam Darnold, here's the question is, do you trust the Seahawks? Do you trust Sam Darnold more or do you trust the Niners defense more?
Right. That's the question. Because we have seen Sam Darnold can fold under big spots. He's not infallible. He's looked good and he's got a chance to win 14 games this year. Like I said, with the division on the line, the number one overall seed, I'm going to go to the guy that's been there before. He's been in the big spots. And that's Shanahan's 49ers.
What percentage chance do the Chiefs F the Raiders and let Vegas win Sunday?
I mean, are you asking me what percentage chance the Chiefs are going to throw the game on purpose? I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're both going to throw the game on purpose. Who can throw it more obvious? Who can just be better at throwing the game is the question.
Well, that's the thing. How sneaky can these teams get is the question. Raiders weren't very sneaky about it last week.
What happens? What would the NFL do if the Raiders came out and just kneeled the ball,
They would.
You know how in Waterboy,
Yeah.
because Bobby Boucher is in there, they just kneel the ball the second half. What if they did that from the first quarter on? Like, what's the repercussions? Like, I mean, obviously there'd be something like firings, fines.
No, they would lose. They would lose draft picks. Like the NFL has the ability to strip teams of draft picks. So they would, if they did an investigation, they found they were purposely throwing the game. Like the integrity clause would allow them to take like their first couple of draft picks.
As they should. Mal says difference is Brian Robinson. CMC has a legit number 2. I love Brian Robinson. Why have they not used Brian Robinson more? Story.
I mean, when push comes to shove, CMC, the difference between Brian Robinson and CMC is a wide gap, and the team's not willing to let Brian Robinson be in those big spots. I guess they don't need to use him. CMC is an absolute monster of a workhorse. So he might be a really good number 2, but if they don't treat him like a number 2, they just treat him like a true change of pace back. Then it's not like CMC's getting pulled off the field for full series. He might get pulled off for a few downs in a row, but he's not getting pulled off for the entire series. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
I'm still super salty at the Commanders for giving up on Brian Robinson. I know it wasn't going to go well because their offense just died with Jaden Daniels and everything else. I had pretty high hopes for Brian Robinson this year in Washington.
Yeah, and
he's a good player, dude. Really good player.
He's not nearly as dynamic, obviously, and he doesn't catch the ball. And that's a big such a big part of the Shanahan run game. And Brian Robinson, that's why it was kind of a weird that they never really used. Like, if you're going to trade for a guy who's not really a pass catcher, why wouldn't you use him between the tackles and save CMC? But again, like, if he's healthy, CMC is getting more work than anybody else.
We have this is a good one from Mouth. Kenny Pickett. Playing Kenny Pickett is kneeling the ball.
Very nice performance. Very nice and clean performance. Very, very, very nice. Which one of these talented entertainers, who I am not attracted to at all, will be the winner?
That was my applause of that nice clean joke he made, because it's very accurate. It's very fucking accurate. It's Kenny Small Hands Pickett, man. What a bum. Can you believe that guy was a first-round pick? Like, regardless of his hand size, first-round pick. What are we doing here?
Teams make mistakes all the time, man, and they get caught up in the hometown. Like, don't forget, he went to Pitt. He's a hometown guy. Don't forget, Matthew Golden, draft was in Green Bay. So teams are not immutable. They're not immune from making dumb, pre-pressure mistakes.
Mal says, Devious, I think I said 28-21 on my podcast. I'm guessing he said 28-21. Niners. I got to take a pee and grab a beer. I want you to comment on this one story. Mal's been calling for the Niners. That was his pick to win the Super Bowl all year long. So, and that's before all the injuries. Now, Fred Warner may come back. I know we've heard this before, and maybe for the NFC Championship game. I think he would come back for the Super Bowl. That's 2 extra weeks. So, but Nick Bosa's not coming back. So what are regardless of this game, your thoughts on this game against the Seahawks? Give me your opinion on the Niners. Like, how dangerous are they in the playoffs? Are they a team that, if you're the Eagles, if you're a team like the Bears, are you scared of playing the Niners, or do you not mind it because how bad that defense is?
Let's see. I'm just checking on Fred Warner. Dislocated in October, supposed to be over. So no, also deep in January. I don't know. It's like completely up in the air whether or not Fred Warner. I mean, they would love to get Fred Warner back, obviously, but it's incredibly difficult to come back from a dislocated ankle in the same year. That's going to be tough for them. I do have concerns. Like, I don't know that the defense is. It is pretty bad. I don't know if it's good enough to like win the Super Bowl. Is it good to win the NFC Championship? Maybe if this thing runs through the offense. Shanahan is a great play caller. I certainly think they can make a deep run, but man, the defense. It just feels like we're getting set up. If the Niners make it to the Super Bowl, it feels like we're getting set up for like another one of those massive scoring Super Bowls, because they couldn't stop anybody. And any offense.
You couldn't hear a Mack truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
Yeah. So
shout out Christification.
Fred Warner. I don't know, man. I don't know what his what they're being very, very cryptic about it.
So I'll say this about their defense. So this kind of goes. I can talk out of both sides of my mouth in this one about the defense. Robert Saleh, amazing. What he's doing with that team with Band-Aids and duct tape and all this shit is amazing. But it just shows how bad that defense is on paper, because even with Robert Saleh, who we both agree is a top 3 defensive coordinator in the league, top 4.
Couldn't hack it as a head coach, but man, he's a hell of a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. It's like he's up there with, Todd Bowles used to be up there in this name, but not anymore. But just think about it like this. They have him and they're still allowing, 30-point games. So like if you had Matt Eberflus coaching this defense, God forbid, they would allow 50 a game, my dude. So it's like, which breaks first, the talents, or are they capable of, with Robert Saleh in 1 game sample sizes, scheming up a defense to, obviously they're not going to stop anyone. Can they slow down a team? Can they, exploit some of their weaknesses? Can they get a turnover or 2? And that's the upside with the Niners is Robert Saleh is, like you said, that Kyle Shanahan is probably the best play caller in the league, top 2, top 3. In the playoffs, it's not great, but, regular season. And Robert Saleh is a top 3 defensive play caller. So you have 2 of the best play callers on both sides of the ball, with Brock Purdy balling out of his mind right now. He's out of his mind.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be worried about Shannon's a great play caller, and he plays. Reckless isn't the right word, but without abandon during the regular season. When they get a lead in the playoffs, man, he turtles. And I don't know if it's nice quality, high percentage there. He can get he tends to get very conservative late game in the playoffs when they have the lead, and no more evident than the Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs a few years ago. So that's another concern.
You know why that is, though, Storey? It's because the 28-3 loss he had when he was offensive coordinator of the Falcons, where he was running play-action passes up 28-3. That's why he gets gunshot.
Well, there's probably a happy medium there, a middle ground between. Right? Yes. But it doesn't seem like he's kind of learned that yet. I guess we'll see. That I don't know that the 49ers offense or the 49ers roster as it's set up right now is enough to win the Super Bowl. I think they can get to the NFC Championship game, but yeah.
Oh, it's Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz was Cher's son in Mask.
Who's Eric Stoltz?
If you don't know who Eric Stoltz is the heroin dealer in Pulp Fiction, but he is most notably known as he was originally Marty McFly in Back to the Future. They actually shot I think it was 4 or 5 weeks of Back to the Future with Eric Stoltz before, because they couldn't pry Parkinson's. What's his name? I don't know why I said that. It's rude. What's Michael J. Fox? They couldn't pry Michael J. Fox away from was it Growing Pains or whatever the hell show he was in? They couldn't get him away, and that was their first choice. So Eric Stoltz, there's literally an hour of footage of him in Back to the Future, and he just is playing the character all wrong. It's not a comedy at all with him. So Eric Stoltz, though, that was the biggest L in Hollywood's history, is he was going to be essentially Marty McFly for those 3 movies, and look what Michael J. Fox did with that. And they replaced him a month into the shooting.
Yeah, I had heard about that. He I don't remember why. He just wasn't getting along with what's his yeah, I don't know.
It was the vibe. It was the vibe, man. It was he was wide-eyed, and it was almost like he was playing a drama, when the movie is clearly a comedy. It's a sci-fi comedy.
Yeah,
and they just didn't
I wonder if he didn't vibe with Zemeckis.
Oh, I love Zemeckis, though. What a dude.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Have you seen Polar Express, by the way?
No, I have no reason to watch that movie.
Don't watch it. Trust me. Me and Erica do 25 movies of Christmas, and we chose that one this year. Ugh. I love Tom Hanks too. It's animated, but it's gross. Miles says, imagine Monty back in Chicago with Swift. Monty instantly round 3. I think they're not going to do that for 1, but they love Manung guy, and he wouldn't be round 3 just because he'd still be the 1B, right? In the same situation.
Round 3. What are you talking about?
In fantasy.
Swift round 3?
No, Monty would be round 3. He's saying.
No way. Round 3?
He would be.
No, this is
he would be in the same spot he was going this year.
The Bears are going to like run a committee. Like none of the guys are going to get all the work there. Nobody's going to get all the work there.
I got a pressing question for you from Joe Blacko. Shout out Joe Blacko, one of the newest Patreon subscribers. What's going on, my dude? Mekhi Lemon, my rookie wide receiver 1. Dude plays like Puka. Now, I got a different vibe, and I'm not just saying this because of the same college. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown for me, dude. Now, I actually, recently started diving into the running back and wide receiver class. I just like to get my, wet my whistle a little bit before I look at any rankings and kind of get my own opinions before I get them kind of, they get biased based on when you look at where guys are ranked on big boards and Mel Kiper spouting off shit with his hair gel. What do you think about Lemon? Because this dude is a badass, bro.
Yeah, he's a baller. Before we get into that, I want to know what you think about his teammate who's coming out this year as well, Jacoby Lane.
Did not get to him.
Okay. Mekhi Lemon plays like an absolute stud. I'm going to just pull up his stats size because he is. So he's. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a fairly good comp when you took that 5'11", 195. Great speed, great hands, incredible route runner. Like for a 5'11" guy, he's a contested catch guy as well. He's going to play very well at the next level. It all depends on his landing spot. He could come in if he comes in as a nice complementary role. He could certainly be viable year one in fantasy. But I think we need to kind of temper expectations on these wide receivers coming out. And we have been very hot to kind of steam some of these guys up. And Ted McMillan had a really good rookie campaign. Probably fell short of expectations, though, based on where he ended up getting drafted near the end of the year.
It was eerily similar, at least numbers-wise, to Marvin Harrison's rookie year. They both had 8 touchdowns. They both had 900 yards. It was the same thing. It's just Marvin Harrison was seen as more of a disappointment because he went in the the 1-2 turn, top 15 pick in fantasy drafts, and he was drafted top 5 in real life, right? So, that's the difference. Essentially was the same exact rookie season as Marv. Some of the optics were worse with Marv because the drops were more. I think it was more just because he got more publicity, right? It was more on front page news. My thing about Lemon, dude, that I noticed, and I shout out my boy Kappa, my first co-host. He really got me on this one. First thing I check with these guys, first thing, and this actually makes a lot of sense, is can they catch? And when I say can they catch, it's more like how can they catch? How do they catch? And this was my biggest concern. You remember, I harped on you guys, you and Nick O, about your love for Quentin Johnson coming out. And I said, Quentin Johnson does not high point the ball. He's a body catcher. He has bad hands. Body catching's bad. You let the ball get to in general, whether it's drops or not, you're way less likely to make the reception because in the NFL, DBs knock that ball away if you let it get to your body. Lemon, dude, not only is he hands catching, Lemon is catching the ball, dude. His hands are fully extended on some of these catches, Story, where they are all the way out. He's catching the ball literally 2 feet away from his body. And even on routine catches where you just should have it, close to your body or whatever, I think it's one of those guys that he was brought up the right way to where you could tell his fundamentals are off the charts. Now I know it sounds like a really dumb thing. We're talking about NFL players, right? Of course they can catch the ball. They're wide receivers. Well, you know what, Story? I've seen far too many goddamn wide receivers that can't catch the ball. Matthew Golden's guilty of this, man. That guy has terrible hands. And, Xavier Worthy, don't get me started on Xavier Worthy. But guys that are extreme hands catchers always work in the NFL just because they're never going to drop passes. They're going to have to trust their quarterbacks. And you always talk about earning targets, right? Lemon will earn targets because he's going to be the quarterback's best friend. And I know the slot receiver in a lot of ways has kind of died in the last couple of years in the NFL because of how defenses are deploying. And that, there was that 3-year stretch where those slot receivers were dominating, bro. And St. Brown and Puka are kind of the two. And Puka, I don't even consider a slot receiver because the usage they give him is just so unique. But I feel like Lemon's a guy that's going to come in and just make an immediate impact. Now, I don't know. It's not going to be St. Brown level stuff.
You got to temper expectations. We're only going off of 2 years of college production here. So it's not like he's got
a profile, though. And St. Brown had a really rough first 8 games, right? It was only the second half of his rookie year where he really came out, and then year 2. And I'm not saying I think Lemon with his draft capital will be able to overcome the early season stuff because St. Brown just wasn't seeing the field.
I'm going to temper expectations on rookie wide receivers in general. Playing in 1 year in the Pac-12, then 2 years in the Big Ten, obviously. At USC, great year. I mean, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns for Lemon. Like I said, he's a great contested catch wide receiver, but this type of game tends to translate, but I'm not really willing to draft rookie wide receivers like at all next year. Like none of these.
No, they always bust. They always bust.
Yeah, none of these guys are
no, they have. So like there was a 4-year stretch story where they all exceeded expectations. It was the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, St. Brown, Puka, and then Puka wasn't even in the category because he was a 5th round pick. And then, but before that, they busted, and then the last 2 years they've busted. So, like, look at the sample. In 10 years, we had 4 straight years where they exceeded expectations. That's only 4 out of 10. That's not a good ratio.
Yeah, I mean, draft profile it looks good, but again, like he could land and be the number 2 someplace and just not make an immediate impact. I think it's going to take some time for these guys to make the adjustment. He's also playing in the weaker side of the Big Ten, so take that for what it's worth.
Joe Blacko, Brian Robinson was a Jordan Mason archetype. Yeah, I'll give you. I think Brian Robinson is a better player than Jordan Mason, but the thing is, it's a shame we didn't see a 1 or 2 game sample size of what Brian Robinson could have done if CMC got hurt. Like we saw Jordan Mason just go gangbusters last year in those 6 games. Because Brian Robinson is that same archetype, 1-cut runner.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But neither one, like for fantasy purposes, like neither one of these guys is valuable. I mean, even if Brian Robinson got the full-time job, it's still not nearly as valuable as somebody that gets the passing down work. Like the hype for Jordan Mason was off the charts this year. Like
who knows if they had a good offense like last year, who knows how it would have gone, but it wouldn't have gone where he was drafted.
Yeah.
He was drafted in the playable handcuff, the David Montgomery range, essentially.
Yeah, I couldn't get behind it at all. Yeah.
You're going to like this one, GT. It's from GT. Watching more college ball, I'm understanding why Storey hates coaches.
Dude, it was on full display this past week. Like, just how dumb college coaches are. It's amazing how these guys, like, so Nebraska just re-signed Matt Rule. That is just so ridiculous. The guy is a 500 coach, and he can't even get the team above 500.
Storey just wants to fight every single coach.
You stupid fuck. Go buy some sandals. Hey, go buy some sandals. You want to fight? I'll fight you. I haven't fought in 10 years. I'm fighting you guys. What you got? Let's see. Throw down, bitch. Throw down, bitch.
Let's throw down. Throw down, bitch. This is a good call from Mr. Free Throw. The fake slide added 2 rounds to Pickett's draft stock.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
You know what I would compare that to? Remember Zach Wilson's pro day throw? The Aaron Rodgers flick of the wrist across his body?
No, I don't remember that.
It was just an all-time, but it was the thing is at least Kenny Pickett's was in a real game. This was a pro day throw from Zach Wilson. I'm telling you, this wasn't 2 rounds, but it really cemented him as the number 2 player in that draft. Which you think that Zach Wilson deserves another chance or no?
Yeah, I mean everybody deserves a second chance.
I mean, it's just the fact that he was so young and so raw.
Except for Kenny Pickett.
Except for Kenny Pickett, he doesn't deserve a chance.
Yeah.
Jonathan was at the Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl was sick.
That's
It was
awesome.
an IU home game, basically. Hell yeah. Nice weather too. I mean, it's usually nice weather there, but
it was overcast. But yeah, it's a good game. Let's see. Yeah, I want to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl next year.
Bethune in the 7th round pick from 2024 is playing very, very well. He was hurt for a little bit too, I believe. He was awesome for IDP leagues. So losing Warner did nothing but help you discover your next star. When Warner comes back, your defense gets plus. That would be a nice combo for sure. Switz is a free agent though. Yeah, but they're going to bring something. The thing is, if they have Monungai, they wouldn't bring in another player like David Montgomery because they're kind of comp to similar players. Monungai is a banger. They would bring in.
They like him a lot.
They do.
Yeah, the buzz around the organization is that Monungai is probably what they're going to build around on the running back room, and Swift is going to take more of a complementary role going forward.
Keep telling me about these wide receiver story. I'm getting a shopping list together when Swifties lose, and give me the number 1 pick.
Put Denzel Boston in your top 3. I guarantee that guy is going to be an absolute. He probably won't get drafted until 5 or 6, but Denzel Boston is you talk about a guy with incredible hands, incredible route runner. Go watch his film.
5th or 6th overall. He's that good of a prospect?
5th or 6th wide receiver drafted.
Oh, where does he play? I did watch his film.
Washington.
I forget where Washington. Okay. Yeah, he looks just kind of like remind me of Roma Dunze a little bit.
A little bit.
Bigger guy, not too flashy, but like 6'2".
Like he's not the fastest dude on the turf, but like just go watch some of his catches. It's incredible.
Joe Blacko looks at Lemon like JSN. Is that too high of praise?
I mean, no. I mean, Lemon is probably going to be. He's going to scream up draft boards. You are right, Rob, that his transition to the pro is going to be smoother than most prospects, just based on like his technical ability, his foundation, like proven that he can get it done in big spots. But I got to temper expectations for like these guys are going to flash at preseason. They're going to scream up draft boards, and everybody's going to complain when Lemon comes out and drops 2 for 19 in week 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the issue you're talking about is avoiding them because they
are
typically league winners, but you can't win the league if you don't make the playoffs.
This tonight is all about a fantasy slant from these guys, but we'll discuss them in depth, like from their prospect profile, their college production, their teammates, etc. When we look at them from a draft standpoint, where we'll discuss more about them in the wide receiver. Tonight, I'm strictly talking about from a fantasy perspective. I don't want to show any shade on Lemon whatsoever. He's going to be incredible in the pros. He will be an All Pro at some point. I'm just trying to like pump the brakes on the fantasy side of things a little bit.
I'm looking forward to those April shows because, as you know, I want to learn as well. And I put in my research for a month or two, so to speak. But like, it's never going to be what yours is because you're actually a fantasy football fan. So like, it's nice for me to just be able to sit here and host and ask you guys the right questions and kind of learn. Because it's valuable to me because I throw so much goddamn money in fantasy and gambling that I need to know these guys before they come out. And if you miss out, you might never give them again, at least at that price point. Like the Puka Nacua thing was a perfect example of thank you story because thank you. Jacoby Lane is a monster. That's the guy from USC, right? That's the number 2.
Yeah, he's the other guy from USC. He was overshadowed by Lemon quite significantly, but he's a good prospect in his own right.
Hate the no field goal mentality in college football.
Yeah,
is that just due to the kickers being bad? No, I didn't watch. Is that just
part of it is the kickers being bad. Part of it is the way like the angle is different because of where the hash marks are in college versus the NFL. But also, like Dan Lanning, dude, he loves going for it on 4th down. I've never seen so many 4th down calls in my entire life. That game was just trash. Like. Balls being batted down at the line of scrimmage. I don't know why Dante Moore is being considered like the number 1 overall pick. The guy doesn't look very good to me.
You know what I noticed about Dante Moore that I think is gonna. I love the player. I love what I see out of the guy. His arm slot is so low. He's throwing from here, dude, and like he's not very tall. He's 6'2". It's like, dude, you can't get away with that in the NFL. Look at what happens with Jalen Carter. He bats 3 balls a game. And that's an elite player there in the defensive line, but that's a concern where I like his film more than Mendoza, but Mendoza's 6'5". Now I don't think Mendoza's actually 6'5". I think he's going to come out at 6'3.5". What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it depends. Like these guys are all liars. Like Dante Moore's listed at 6'3", and I guarantee you he's not 6'1". Yeah.
What do you think Mendoza is though? 6'3", right?
He's probably 6'5". I would guess.
What he's listed at, bro. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit.
Okay.
He's not listed at 6'7". No, there's no way.
He's also he's a solid dude. He's like 225. Like he's
maybe. We'll see without shoes. We'll see, Storey.
Fair. That's fair.
We'll see.
With cleats.
It's like the pro day, they're all 6'5". They go to the combine if they go and they're 6'2.5". It's like Kenny Pickett's hands magically grew 2 inches, dude.
I know.
Like it's like they're taking extends for their hands. It doesn't work. Mouth, me and Storey are very similar. I sense coaches' expiration dates before everyone else. If it was at the Storey, it'd be like are already expired, right?
If it was up to me, I would slash the pay of every head coach and use that money to hire the 15-year-olds who sit and play Madden every day. And I guarantee you they can call a better game than 90% of the coaches in the NFL and college.
Shit. Sorry. I'm still rough, man. This cold is not going away from me. It was gone, and now it's back. So Thoughts on Mendoza? Do you like him, Storey?
Yeah, I mean, you got one
number one overall pick, right?
His like Indiana this year in Indiana is nothing short of spectacular. But a lot of the credit goes to Curt Cignetti for what he's brought this team to. Also, the fact that James Madison was in the playoffs and that he set that organization up pretty well when he left. Anyway, Mendoza, like, he screams West Coast kind of quarterback. He needs a good timing-based system, but he's got he's really good at precision over power. So this is going to be like his landing spot. I think is probably more dependent on his fantasy value than any other. If he goes with a good coordinator, I don't think he's good enough athlete to overcome having a bad scheme. Like if he goes to the Jets, I feel bad for him.
Well, that's a bad spot. Joe Blacko has Boston as wide receiver 4. You said 5th round, huh?
Not no, fifth round.
Fifth wide receiver. Oh no, yeah, 5th wide receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver 5 or 6. I think he should be top 3 though.
Mal says if Lemon is a Brown, different story. Browns and Jets are the 2 spots you don't want to go. The Raiders, I feel like I have some hope for. Now, unfortunately, Pete Carroll's there for maybe one more year, but you have Bowers, you have Dante Thornton, wink, wink, counselor.
As long as Pete Carroll's there, I don't think I'm going to trust anybody in that offense. Anybody, like maybe Ashton Genty.
But I could see light at the end of the tunnel in year 2, year 3, year 4, where I don't see that with the Browns. Personally, and then JSN was a slow burn. Definitely. JSN was more of a slow burn based on the coordinator being a clown, and then DK and Lockett still being there, and he was essentially played out of position. That was why JSN was a slow burn. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and McDonald kind of changed things quite significantly with that scheme in general. I mean, keep an eye out for Carnell Tate. He's another Ohio State guy coming out this year.
I heard he was projected at 4.6 for the 40. Is that right?
Yeah, he's not a fast dude.
4.6 is rough, bro. I'm not a Mr. 40 guy, but when you get to the 4.6s, you got some issues.
Yeah, but go back and watch some Ohio State games. He gets open like nobody's business.
Yeah, so did Keon Coleman in college.
Well,
just saying. PZ, Giants always seem to fuck up the number 1 pick. And correct me if I'm wrong, Storey. Didn't the Giants take Daniel Jones over Josh Allen?
Daniel Jones over Josh Allen. Didn't everybody take Daniel? Didn't everybody take not everybody, but didn't a bunch of quarterbacks go before Josh Allen? I don't remember where he was drafted.
That was the Baker Mayfield draft, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, so 7th overall. It was the 2018 draft. That sounds right. Let's see. Let's take a little gander, eh? I'm excited to see this. So it was Baker Mayfield number 1, Sam Darnold number 3. No, so it wasn't right. It was Josh Allen was number 7. So where the hell must have been the year after. But Sam Darnold and Sam Darnold especially over Josh Allen. Wild. Who did they take? They took him over somebody. Can you look up sorry why I could do this? Can you look up Daniel Jones draft and see who they took Daniel Jones over? Will the Fanatics Professionals be in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft? We will not, but we'll be covering it ad nauseum here on this show. Pretty much 5 days a week in April with Storey, Blake, our media manager. Blake's a big college football fan. He'll be on here. I'll just be hosting, learning, bringing some of my own personal thoughts and opinions. But again, I would rather side with Storey's opinions. Unless it's on Quentin Johnson, which you were way off on, my dude.
Yeah, but you were way off on Keon Coleman. So,
whoa! This year or what?
Yeah,
I don't like. Oh, well, that was okay. It was an opportunity. I'm saying this is don't do this. Fuck you. No, I was.
Okay. So Danny Dimes, that was 2019. That was the Kyler Murray draft. So it went Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams, Clennon Farrell. God, you haven't heard that guy in a long time. Devin White, and then Daniel Jones, 6 overall. God, the Lions took Hawkinson at 8 overall. What a waste.
Hey, didn't I tell you about Quentin Johnson?
Well, you just think you know everything, don't you? You're like a black woman in hindsight.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
That's the year the Patriots drafted N'Keal Harry.
Oh, N'Keal Harry, first round, 31st overall, right?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yep, that's really gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's still talking about the kickers, put up some points and close the gap early second quarter in a 6 to 8 point difference. What the fuck? So you agree they should have kicked the field goal, whatever you guys are referencing that I don't know?
I don't think there's any one instance, but a lot of like coaches get really like a kicker could miss and then they get really nervous about kicking again. They'll often go for it fourth down, even in negative territory. So I think you should go. I think the NFL should go for it on fourth down more, and the college you should go for it less. But there's like I said, there's a nice middle ground there that coaches don't seem to get in on.
This is one for you from Peasy. Coaching is more than just scheming. Damn right it is. Story doesn't seem to believe
Well, that's why
that.
I said keep the head coach, but you're going to hire somebody to draw up the schemes and the offensive game plan and call the plays. You need somebody who's actually got working brain cells and whose parents weren't siblings.
Mendoza feels like Goff. A more athletic Goff, though. He's definitely more athletic than Goff.
He's more athletic.
Not hard to do.
But that's an apt comparison, right? Because that is about precision.
That's like having a bigger dong than an Asian. Like, it's not like that big of a deal. It's like cool. Like you're 4 inches instead of 3.5. Like, congratulations, you're not going to pleasure a woman. Mendoza has a bigger arm than Goff too. Am I crazy here? Goff's just more of like the prototypical like game manager plus. Like he's a coach in the field. Like he's just really accurate. I feel like Mendoza might be more erratic. And correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I just have watched highlights. Bigger arm, more athletic than Goff, but not like super athletic.
Yeah. Neither. I mean, yeah. I mean, I there's a lot to be said about these guys from a draft perspective. I want to see where things end up after the pro days. Like, let's get some numbers on the books when it comes to these measurables. Like, we know they're in-game style, but I want to see how things shake out from the combine.
That was the craziest take ever. 15-year-old Madden players would never be able to handle anxiety and pressure of NFL play calling at the moments. There's a lot of pressure in Madden, but
yeah. I mean, first of all, how much worse could it be than some of the coaching decisions that we've seen made in game, i.e., or e.g., Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl? You want to talk about? You telling me that a Madden player would have called a pass play there on second down?
I see where you're going. I think there's a happy medium between what you're saying and what he's saying. I think that you guys are both.
Coaches are overpaid and they're mostly worthless.
Jesus Christ. Joe Blacko, you and that and Ray's flat earth is just like way beyond my comprehension. Joe Blacko says Dwayne Haskins. By the way, check it out. I got the Dwayne Haskins jersey up in here. I'm representing it's a signed Dwayne Haskins jersey. It's one of like 8 because he didn't sign many because he died very, very young. Peasy, Sam Darnold was nasty coming out of USC. Did you like him coming out of college?
I did, yeah. I think he got a bit of a raw deal in the NFL, but it's good to see him having a late career resurgence. That's why I think that there's hope for any of these guys. They go in the right situation, like Geno Smith in Seattle was good, and then he goes to a really bad situation, and he plays really badly. I don't know if there's a correlation there or what, but yeah.
One of my favorite like little bits I did in the show, this is year 1, so the show's been going for 5 years now. This is year 1 when Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts, remember? Yeah. And I popped a fucking Haley Joel Osment face on Sam Darnold because he sees ghosts, he sees dead people. Just one of my favorite early bits I did. Just trying to, stroll down memory lane there of Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts and Haley Joel Osment saw, by the way, great twist. You think there's anyone that doesn't know that twist by now?
I'm sure there's some people that don't know it, but I have no problem spoiling a 25-year-old movie.
Have you watched it recently? Sixth Sense?
No, I've watched Sixth Sense, and God, it's been a long time for me. I did see Unbreakable not that long ago.
Unbreakable holds up more than Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense doesn't really hold up. I know it's like one of those things where the twist is kind of the whole movie.
Yeah.
But it's just not scary. I don't know. There's like my favorite scene of Sixth Sense is actually not the reveal of Bruce Willis being dead. It's the scene in the car with his mom where, he's talking about the grandma and shit. That's like that shit hits hard, dude. That's a hard hitting scene. And M. Night was awesome. And now he's just not very good. So Joe Blacko, my hot take is Colts need to sign Malik Willis instead of Daniel Jones.
He is an undrafted free agent after this
What
year.
about Anthony Richardson?
Broken eye bone, man.
Well, I'm saying, but no. What about going forward? What about Anthony Richardson? Is he just dead to the world?
I think he needs he needs a change of scenery. Like he's never going to succeed in like his just legacy is tainted there. So go somewhere else, be a backup, and then come in when you need and play yourself into your next contract.
You know, you would agree that he's not in the same camp as Zach Wilson, right? Like Zach Wilson, you could give him a chance, but I think there's still a chance Anthony Richardson has immense upside. Where I don't think there's ever a world where Zach Wilson could be one of these elite quarterbacks in the NFL, because I think again Anthony Richardson is like 23 years old, dude.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't think he has immense upside whatsoever. I think he could be a starting quarterback at some point, but again, I think all these quarterbacks. Sometimes, like, it's just not a fit with the organization and it doesn't work. You got to go somewhere else. Clean slate. Everybody deserves a second chance, except for Kenny Pickett.
You fucking hate Kenny Pickett. All I gotta say is that Geno Smith resurrected his career. Now I know he backed up, multiple, elite quarterbacks with good coordinators, and it was like we was 32 when that happened with the Seahawks. Anthony Richardson is such a more talented player than Geno Smith ever was. I know talent isn't everything, but
yeah,
give the guy a chance. Your boy Haskins was the only first-round quarterback taken after Daniel Jones. Okay. Ooh, God, Dwayne Haskins. That was bad. That was always a bad pick, right? Well, yeah, RIP for sure. Do you think the Panthers can beat the Buccaneers in Tampa because the Panthers are better? I still think Tampa's better. They definitely have a lot more talent.
Yeah,
and I don't care how bad Baker's playing.
Which version of the Panthers show up? Like last week, I just want to get the stats because it is crazy when you read it. 10 points, but Bryce Young threw for 54 yards, man. Like, so it depends entirely on which Panthers end up showing up. Like, they've strung together some really great games, and then, they started taking work away from Rico Dowdle again, give it back to Chuba Hubbard, and then they're splitting. Nobody gets in a rhythm. Ted McMillan, he's hot and cold. So I'm like I said, gun to my head, I'm going to take the Bucs in that one.
With all the Northwestern money, why haven't they paid NIL money for a quarterback yet?
Well, apparently they felt like they needed. You heard Chip Kelly went there, right? They signed him as a coordinator.
Jesus, that's where Chip Kelly's career's gone to. He's a coordinator at Northwestern.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not good,
dude. They're gonna have so Texas Tech put a contending team on the field this year with 28 million in NIL money, and Northwestern had 21 million this year, and they're gonna have more next year. I'm with Dakota. I don't know why they haven't gone out and gotten somebody big yet. Like why they haven't just dropped a coin to try to compete. Like,
aren't they still paying for those hazing scandals there at Northwestern?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, maybe they just want to wait to be a competitive team till they get the new stadium up. Maybe that's it.
UNC, yeah, the Falcons win. It doesn't matter what happens in this game. The difference is that the Panthers and Buccaneers play on Saturday, so they both have to play. But if the Falcons win, the Panthers are the division champs.
Well, that's why they made this game for the Saturday game.
Right. And dude, I'll say this, man. I have a pretty big futures bet. I bet on the Browns, the Raiders, and the Saints to finish last in their division, like plus 400. I sent it to you when I did it, Story. Remember that? It's not much. It was like $50, but it was like to win like 220. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't do great on futures this year just because all my Tucker Craft futures and all my Drake London, Tucker Craft, they got hurt. But this one seemed like a lock, and obviously the other ones are last place. But I guess maybe I'm wrong. If the Falcons lose, are they still last place? Or sorry, are they still third place because of tiebreakers?
Below the Saints?
Yeah, if the Saints win, are they still going to be in fourth, or would they jump them?
Saints, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I don't know what the tiebreaker is for them. It was probably
anyway. I'm stressing that one. I know it's not much money, but $220 would be nice haul for a $50 bet that I made in fucking August. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it was the right bet. Dakota hates Anthony Richardson. He says Anthony Richardson needs to be moved to a ball handler role. And then Peasy says Anthony Richardson is ass. Zach Wilson clears him in arm talent and accuracy. We would both rather have Anthony Richardson, right? Just because the upside, like Zach Wilson might be
from fantasy
or like starter. No, just real life. Like if your franchise was going to take a game, like the Cardinals, if they were going to take a gamble, they're going to sign Brissett. They're going to take a gamble on a young quarterback as Kyler's gone. Would you rather have it be Zach Wilson or Anthony Richardson?
I mean, Zach Wilson's not that much older than Anthony Richardson. Zach Wilson's like 26, 7.
He's probably he's probably younger than that, dude. He's probably 24.
No, I think he's like 25 or 26.
Oh, he's 26. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So 26 compared to 23, bro. Like 3 years younger. I mean, what are we talking about?
Like when you're talking decades, it doesn't. That's inconsequential. I think I'd rather have Zach Wilson. I think PC's right. Like the arm talent is like he doesn't obviously have as big of an arm, but I think he's more accurate. I think he's got a better head on his shoulders. Anthony Richardson also is a bit of a head case, right? Taking him out of games. How do you like?
That was one play, bro. One play.
That's it. Like a lot of times you can boil somebody's character down to one play. I don't know that there's that much upside with Anthony Richardson. This is all being based off of one season of college production where they didn't even have that good of a record. So
no, I'm not going off anything like that. I'm going off just the player prototype, and I know it doesn't work out. It works out way less than it actually works out, but he is a giant that is super fast with a super strong arm. I feel like you could coach him up, get him some fundamentals. Either way, you were talking about him taking himself out of the game. Are you essentially trying to call Anthony Richardson a little bitch?
Yes, I am.
Well, you can camp out here for a while.
Well, this is pretty sweet. Does this couch fold out to a bed?
Yeah, totally great bed. But that's Jenkins' bed. Your bed's over here.
Dude, that is so fucking weak. How am I supposed to get a chick in that?
No, don't worry, dude. You couldn't get a chick if you had a $100 bill hanging out of your zipper.
Yeah, I could.
No, dude, you're a little bitch.
I am not. I don't even know why I hang out with you guys.
Because you're a piece of shit.
I am not a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, but you're a little bitch. Sure.
Nice.
Where would Max Crosby ends up next year? He's not going to be on the fucking Raiders.
I tell you where I'd love him to end up. Like, I think the Bears should roll out the red carpet, trade the Raiders, whatever they want to get Max Crosby.
What about the Cowboys?
Jerry Jones isn't like, if it's not on his terms, it's not splashy enough. So I would love the Bears to do it. I don't think they will. I think he ends up in Washington next year or maybe New England.
I got some good comments here, and thank you guys. So this is why this is why the show is elite. Peasy says neither of them are great leaders, so it doesn't matter. That's true, but they're also children. Joe Blacko, Richardson needs to go to Minnesota. Peasy, I don't think either deserve another chance. Richardson is not good. Joe Blacko, this is the quote I want to talk about because I love this guy coming out of college, Malik Willis. Same was said about Malik Willis, and Malik Willis is now about to get a bag. Now, it could be an undeserved bag, and who is the Packers quarterback that got signed before Russell Wilson? That's through the 5 touchdown game. The really short guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What the hell? How about something in the chat? Who is this guy?
Oh my God.
Super short white guy.
Yeah. I'll look it up, but yeah.
So Malik Willis was much more of a lost cause coming out of Tennessee than what Anthony Richardson is now, right? Matt Flynn.
Thank you.
Matt Flynn. 5 touchdown game in week 18, meaningless action, right? So just you get what I'm saying. Like Malik Willis was a way lower draft pick, shorter. I like Malik Willis coming out of college. Like he had one of the all-time epic pro days if you go back and watch that. But it was way worse than what we're talking about Anthony Richardson now. And I know the health thing is a concern, but Anthony Richardson also plays like a madman out there. Like he plays like Cam Newton. So that's the upside with Anthony Richardson is you saw what Malik Willis is doing now with, LaFleur's a pretty goddamn good coordinator. So you need that with Anthony Richardson, right? You need Minnesota. You need San Francisco. You need to sit behind a guy for a year. You need that.
Yeah.
Max is from DFW. Where is DFW?
Dallas
Fort
Worth.
There you go. That would be a come full circle with the whole trade of Micah Parsons, right?
Yeah, I didn't know he was from Dallas. That kind of makes it a little more likely that he would go to the Cowboys.
The Panthers. You think the Panthers will take a shot at Max Crosby?
I don't know that they've got the draft capital to trade for him. Like this is not a release situation. This is a big time trade.
No. This is also a luxury pickup, right? It can't be a team that's on the. It needs to be this is a put your team over the top move, where the Panthers are much more. I know they're fighting for the division championship at 8-9. That's not really great. This is a Bears, and I know the Cowboys have a bad record, but the Cowboys are really just a couple moves on defense away from being contenders.
Right.
Because that offense is elite.
You need a team that does not, like you said, a luxury pick, because it's going to be multiple first-round picks. So you need a team that is in position now and doesn't need to continue to build.
The nice thing is, for anyone trading for Max Crosby, you say that it's going to take a lot. It will take a lot, but Max Crosby has made his point now. It's funny how this guy went from, lifelong Raider. He was like some of these Raiders guys. Remember Derek Carr was just a lifelong Raider, and he always just spoke out about that. Where it's like one of those things where no one's forcing you to say these things, and when they say these things, obviously they mean them. And Max Crosby was very adamant about, I want to retire a Raider because now Max Crosby had some of those personal issues, the substance abuse, and like the Raiders gave him a chance, similar with Darren Waller as well, right? And like some of these guys are real loyal to their teams when they get the chance, when they go, they overcome some of these adversity things. But Max Crosby has now taken a complete 180, dude. I'll almost say 360. I know 360 reverts back to where it is. It's over 180 on hating like what they did about shutting him down. And I think this is just an excuse to be like, I need to get out of this organization because this organization is trash. It's trash.
Yeah.
What about the Patriots? Patriots would be a good spot too. They need a pass rusher.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he ends up in Washington or New England next year.
Yeah, Panthers give up Brian Burns, who's balling out in New York right now. Yeah, they could. Why would they do that? AJ Brown to the Raiders. That is the great spot for AJ Brown, right? As much as we hate on AJ Brown for just being a little whiny bitch.
Seems about
Send
right.
the Raiders.
Raiders are where whiny wide receivers go
to die, and then they resurrect with the Patriots,
or they have a career resurgence when they get to the Rams, a la Devontae Adams.
All right, we are caught up on questions. We'll stay on for a few more minutes and answer a couple more. Trone, do you think Parsons and Diggs plotted to get his release knowing the Packers were going to claim him? I thought he was headed to the Eagles. That's a really great pickup. No, I don't think it's going to help him this year as much. I think that the Packers are kind of fucked Story. But going forward, they paid him so much money. They're getting him for free, essentially. So I am on record saying I don't think Travion Diggs is a very good player. And it was mostly relevant. It was mostly because of how much money he makes. It's not because I think he's a bad player. I think he's an above average player. It's just he's a run and gun kind of guy. He's Allen Iverson playing defense in the NBA. He gets a steal or he gets dunked on. That's Travion Diggs. But in this defensive scheme with these pass rushers, I'm looking at next year for this move. It's a great move.
Yeah. I don't know, like what. How many years is he signed for?
Well, the thing is, whatever they sign him for, the Cowboys are on the hook for the remainder. So it gets 4 years, bro. It was a big contract, dude.
Yeah,
like a 4-year contract, 5-year contract. Bad signing by Jerry Jones.
What are you gonna do?
If you had Diggs and you didn't want to sign Micah Parsons, what are you doing, bro? Like he's looking at numbers, like, dude, this dude had fucking 7 interceptions. We all know interceptions are not a sticky stat. And it was Micah Parsons should have been credited with 3 of those interceptions, right?
Probably
more.
Maybe.
Seemingly. All right. AJ and Vrabel reunion would be cool. That would be cool. I still can't believe the Titans traded AJ Brown in his prime. Like we're talking not even in his prime. This is AJ Brown before his prime, right? He was 24 years old I
think that season
what amounted to what was it? It was Treylon Burks.
At least near the peak.
Yeah, but they traded him for Treylon Burks, who would never play in the NFL.
Whoopsies.
And he had asthma and weight problems. That's not a good combination. Like you want your receivers to be able to breathe and be able to like fit into a uniform, and he couldn't do either of those things. Here it is. Diggs is getting paid like $472K from the Packers this year, and the rest of the contract is non-guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
Oh God. Insider links Kyler Murray to Carolina Panthers.
I want to talk about
the combined height of their quarterbacks would be 10 feet tall.
It would be under a what do you call it? Like a Native American totem pole. The two of them stacked on top of each other.
They can put them in a trench coat, right, with like one of their heads sticking out,
and
then have their fucking their pocket passer. Oh, Kyler Murray. That's gonna be interesting though.
I want to talk about Kyler Murray. I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I don't know what that organization.
Really upset.
I just can't stand how Kyler Murray has fooled everybody into thinking he's a good NFL quarterback.
He is not a good NFL quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. He is a terrible teammate. He is just bad, bro.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? They're going to re-sign Brissett because Brissett had a stretch of 7-8 games where he was playing garbage time catch-up football, and he's putting up gaudy stats. Like the Cardinals are dumb enough to do that, right? I think the pumpkin is here. I think I think Brissett's turned back into a pumpkin. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he ended bad. And, the thing is, if you take away Michael Wilson from that equation, now I would love it for Michael Wilson because I'm a big Michael Wilson guy, but it was, the big numbers went away and the close games went away, and it became just, in the middle of the third quarter, they're down 31 to fucking 13. And he's thrown 2 picks.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
Murray will be where are you going to project that he's going to go? I know you don't want to think about it, but come on.
I don't want to talk about I don't want to talk about Kyler Murray. We're going to speculate on this little midget on where he's going to be a backup somewhere.
Hey, it's little person, okay?
Sorry. This
Miami
challenge individual.
Miami.
Ugh, gross.
Atlanta.
Grosser. Because then he's going to drag down Drake London. And that's going to make.
Oh yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I think Miami's a good spot because I think they're going to rebuild.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last question, Joe Blacko. Do you guys think anyone will trade up to 2 for a quarterback? Is that dependent on who comes out? Because there might only be one quarterback worth a top 5 pick.
Well, Dante Moore and Mendoza will both be drafted inside the top 5.
But is Moore coming out?
It's coming out this year.
Is he going to? You think so? Because
regardless of how the playoffs end up, he'll come out this year. So the question remains: will somebody? Because I think Mendoza will go number. I think this playoff run is going to carry him in the number 1 overall spot. So the question is: will somebody trade up to draft a quarterback at 2? And I don't think so. Teams don't really trade up inside the top 5 anymore. So I bet defensive player gets drafted at 2, and then he probably goes in like the 3 or 4 range.
Tell that to the Jaguars. You traded up to get Travis Hunter.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, that wasn't even a quarterback, dude. You know what it was, though, Storey? You know what it was? It was an all-time unicorn that played both sides of the ball. You didn't hear? He was elite on both sides of the ball. He was going to play 50 snaps each way.
12, where his quarterback was throwing the ball 50 times a game. He was counting stat. And he was banged up his sophomore year. He barely played. Like, teams do dumb things.
Yeah, you called that one. Murray needs to be on another team for new start. We don't think the new start is going to help. UNC says Murray needs another team for new start. Well, this one's good. Murray will be at McDonald's next week.
Murray will be at McDonald's.
Yeah, no, he'll be playing Call of Duty. I don't think a new team helps. Although I'll say this: Kyler Murray might be a useful fantasy asset because he's always been solid in fantasy. Real life's different story. One more from UNC: Trey Henderson to the Carolina Panthers. This dude wants the Panthers to get their pass rush on. I think the Bears and the Cowboys are the 2 most likely destinations for a pass rusher. Personally.
I mean, regardless, he's going to get a bag, man. And the one defensive player that the Bengals can count on is going to get paid a butt ton of money.
Hey, their defense has dominated since he's been out, though. They've been like a top 10 unit somehow. And that's probably schedule related, but
yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where he ends up. It's going to be an exciting offseason.
Jags are really good this year, though. They said Jags haven't looked good since Coughlin coached them in the 90s. They had the 1 year with Blake Bortles. And then he said, hey, Sam Darnold needed a new team, just saying. The difference is Sam Darnold was playing for the Jets and had no chance. I'm not saying the Cardinals are like a model franchise, but Kyler Murray has never put the work in ever. He won't ever do it. His teammates hate him. He's holier than thou, and he's tiny. So, and his arm strength is like, it was decent his first couple of years. It's not good. He's too small. He's not a leader, and he doesn't put the work in. Those are 3 bad traits that, Bryce Young is going to, I'd rather have Bryce Young than Kyler Murray, right? Going forward. Take away the age.
I don't want to talk about Kyler Murray. I don't want to talk about him. I hate the Good. I hate him, and we'll have to talk about him in free agency. I don't want to talk about him in January.
It's fun. I can't wait to talk about Kyler Murray in free agency with you, my guy. 2 great games tomorrow. That's it, Toronto Forcers. 2 great games tomorrow. There's a nice Sunday night football game, but between that, we have sandwiched between that. No bye weeks this week, right? We have, what would it be? 14 shitty games, 13 shitty games, 13 shitty games.
13 out of 16 are going to be
13 shitty games. Sunday afternoon, terrible. Sunday late window, terrible. We got to wait for Sunday night. So, you guys, zonies. What does that mean? Arizona? No, we're not from Arizona, bro. No. We're from Chicago. We have no reason to hate Kyler Murray besides the fact he's terrible.
Yeah, that's why.
I have no he didn't screw my wife or he didn't screw my team, but UNC, we're live essentially during the season. UNC, we're live 7 nights a week. This time of year, since fantasy is over, this is primarily a fantasy show. We're live about 4 or 5 times a week. So we will be live tomorrow. We'll be live Sunday. We'll be live Monday. Monday, we're doing Step Brothers Story. We're getting into some movies. It's going to be awesome. Those of you that are new to the show, subscribe to the channel. Get the notifications when we go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel, go over to professionalfanatics.com or link in the description. Get in the Patreon. Get in the Discord. This chat goes on 24/7 in the Discord. We have 67 people in there now or so. This is how we roll. So a way to help your boys out. Also get in the community because that is what's up. It's hard for me to talk. I am all stuffed up right now, Story. It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hate it.
Marathon session.
I did okay. I mean, this is actually a short show. In the actual, during the season, I did a lot of 4-hour shows. Maybe not a lot of 4 hours. A lot of 3-hour shows. 4 hours was long. 2 hours was short for me.
Okay.
I like it.
Well, yeah. I think we've answered all the questions. I think we did a good job.
Yeah. We are caught up again. Subscribe if you have not, because that's a kind of a first step is subscribing. It's like Kyler Murray. The first step you should have is watch film, a little bit of film, just a little bit of film. How's that film you're watching doing? How's that film doing? That novel you're writing?
Writer's block. First step for him should be growing 4 inches, but that ain't gonna happen.
It's only been 8 days, GT 9 days, but it seems like it's been 3 weeks for me. And it went away for 2 days, and then I started drinking. And I guess now it's just all coming out. I prefer to come in. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys with that one. Story, love you. You're the shit. We will see you. I don't know if you want to come on Sunday after the games.
Sunday's probably a no-go. Going over to my brother's on Sunday night for we're doing our family Christmas. So I don't know what time.
Playing some Parcheesi? Christmas?
No, I mean the game is my wife and my sister and I wager on when my brother's going to lose his temper with his 4 kids. So that's our little.
Ooh, free throw. You're in, bro. Just give me a DM in the Discord. I'll actually message you later after the show's over, and I'll get you in the Discord and we'll talk about it. So that'd be sweet.
But Monday,
we have a couple spots. Yeah, and the draft is Thursday night for our fantasy playoff league, by the way.
Okay.
We're gonna dominate that one. So we'll see you Monday for Step Brothers, and then you're gonna be over here on Thursday, and hopefully I'm feeling a lot better by then.
So we're gonna do that.
All right, thank you guys. In person, yeah, and then we'll do a stream afterwards and just kind of break down the teams. We can do it sitting next to each other.
Cool. All right, make sure you're healthy by then. Take some ginkgo biloba.
Oh, dude, this is fucking almost a week away, man. I'll be fine, okay? Right. And I'll make sure to fucking sneeze all over you. All right, guys, thank you. Everyone that gave me super chats, appreciate you guys. Tomorrow night's 10:30 p.m. Central. Unless there's a change, I will post it in the Discord. Otherwise, 10:30 p.m. Central. Thank you, Story. Thank you, chat. Thank you for the super chats. Love your life. Stay positive. Respect each other. We're out of here.